Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, good night. We're happy to be here and welcome you all to the Global Startup Pitch, the first round the world startup travel competition run jointly by WiT and Phocuswright. The pandemic made everything so local, and yet travel is meant to be global. So we thought this event presented the perfect timing for us to join hands across the globe and create one stage for the world's travel startups to share innovative ideas with all of us. And the response has been truly encouraging.
We are thrilled to receive more than 130 entries from across the world. It's good to know that despite a tough 2 years, startup spirit is still very much alive and fighting. And if anything, even more vibrant, because we all know out of disruption comes innovation. And speaking of disruption, I recently pulled some data from our State of Startups database to analyze which companies were founded during the last big industry disruption, the Great Recession of 2008 and 2009. Has anybody heard of Uber, Airbnb, Waymo, Get Your Guide, GoAbibo? So what do investors think? Phocuswright data shows that annual funding peaked at $8 billion in 2019. For obvious reasons, there was an initial drop in funding in 2020, but the pace quickly picked back up. And by midway point 2021, we had already matched the full year level of funding in 2020. A lot of the activity, of course, has been investors solidifying their existing portfolios. However, lately, we have seen some new seed and Series A money come into the market. For example, out of Office, a trip inspiration and planning app received a $3.5 million seed round in late April, and Faye, a whole trip insurance startup, raised an $8 million seed round in mid-May. We also anticipate consolidation will lead to acquisitions during the industry recovery. And examples here are Despegar acquiring rival OTA Viajanet in Brazil, and Sabre acquiring Nuvola, a hotel management and guest engagement software company. It's great to see such activity in the startup world. They are what keeps travel exciting and buzzing.
I wonder if we'll look back on this startup competition in a few years, Pete, to recall the first time we saw an industry-shaping disruptor. No pressure for the startups today, but it is good to see this kind of activity in the startup world. They are really what keeps travel exciting and buzzing, as Pete said. And if I'm honest, these competitions are often my favorite part of the program. And we couldn't do it without our sponsors. Partnerships and sponsorships and support from the people who help us to run this industry are what makes events like this possible. And I want to thank our sponsors for supporting this first-time endeavor to unite the world's startups. Our global sponsors this year are Amadeus and Yanolja Cloud, JetBlue Technology Ventures, Natactica, Cambode Partners, Make My Trip, Velocity Ventures, and we have to offer a special thanks to Amazon Web Services for providing credits to our startups.
So we divided the competition into 6 regions: Asia Pacific, India, Middle East and Africa, who will be presenting today, Europe, Latin America, and North America, who we will be presenting tomorrow. We then asked our judges to help us shortlist up to 5 startups per region to compete in the first round. A big thank you to the judges who put in the work to help us get to this stage. And here is the judging criteria that each startup will be scored on. So we have viability, we have customer appeal, technology innovation, sustainability, team, and last but not least, that X factor, which is the undefinable element that separates this particular company from the rest.
That's right. So as Pete said, we're going to cluster Asia, Pacific, India, and Middle East and Africa in this conversation today. And then tomorrow we'll move on to North America, Europe, and Latin America. But from this round, 3 startups per region will be picked to enter the semifinals, which will take place online on August 25th. Results will be announced at the end of this event. And for the semifinals, 1 finalist will then go on to compete in the grand finals this year at WiT Singapore in October from the 3rd to the 5th at the Marina Bay Sands. And I am very pleased to announce that after 2 years of virtual and hybrid and whatever combination we could come up with, our annual conference will be going back to full physical format here in Singapore. As you can imagine, we are all very excited about it. And our founder, Sue Hoon, who is out in the hill country working with tribes from Thailand, trying to prepare something very special for us for that event, is really excited. And I know she's watching today and cheering on all of the competitors who are here participating. So the good news is that Singapore is fully open for business again.
I know I can't wait until October, and the Phocuswright team will be in Singapore in force. So excited for that. So Kimberly, now let's get kicked off with the Asia Pac region. I'm going to be back at the end of the session to do a post-game wrap, where we'll kind of recap some of the startups that pitched today and put it into overall perspective against some of the trends that we're seeing in the market. So make sure you stay tuned to that. Over to you, Kimberly.
Thanks, Pete. And I'll be putting a list of restaurants together for you and the team when you come out to Singapore. But I can already tell you that we definitely won't have enough time. We'll see you on the other side of what promises to be a very interesting competition. Thanks, Pete, for kicking us off.
Yeah.
All right. As we mentioned, we will cover 3 regions today: Asia Pacific, India, and Middle East Africa. In each region, up to 5 startups will have 5 minutes to pitch to our panel of judges, who will then have 3.5 minutes for questions. We'll be quite strict on the timing as usual, so just be aware that if your timing goes long, you may be cut off. And remember, the format is meant to keep the playing field equitable for everyone, and our judges come in peace. They are here to ask probing questions, to get us all thinking, and inspire debate and open minds, and also conversations that may carry on afterward. So thanks again to the judges, and we're really excited to kick off the Asia Pacific portion of this event and introduce the panel of judges for the region. So our first judge is Sutatip Tichasi Udum, also known as Pam for the less adventurous, Nicholas Cox from Velocity Ventures, Laura Holdsworth from Booking.com, Amit Sabharwal from Red Doors, and Siti Hui from a little company called Trip.com. First up today is JC Smith from Black Book Holding. JC, please bring your presentation up and make sure we're able to hear you by double checking your mute button. And once you start speaking, please know that the timer will begin for 5 minutes. You should be able to see that on the screen and keep your pacing on track. Thanks very much, and passing over to you, JC, to hear more about Black Book Holding.
Thanks, Kimberly. I'm just waiting for it to come up to share my screen, and it's my screen's actually not turning up.
Okay, we'll definitely get that sorted out for you.
Yeah, cool. Hang on. What is patience is a virtue, as they say.
Right.
Yeah, and I can't stop my video because the host has stopped it.
Okay, so let's, Jean is in the background, I'm sure, working on getting it
all
set.
I'm good to go. I'm starting my video.
Okay, we won't start the clock until you start talking, so you ready?
That's okay. Video is going, okay. So that's a good start.
Fantastic.
I'm just waiting to see if I can share my screen. Yeah, okay, let's go here. It's really quite odd. It's still not giving me any of the screens. Okay. Here we go. We're in. We're on.
Got it? Okay.
Yeah,
fantastic.
we're good. And I just realized I broke the rule. Everyone wanted to see this to start with. But anyway, we're off. We're off and racing. Timer can start now. Hi guys, my name's JC Smith and I'm the founder and CEO of Blackbook. Blackbook is a lifestyle super app and it's designed for business and personal. I just want to firstly introduce you to my team. A lot of these people don't need introductions. I come from 15 years in fintech. This is my second startup. I've got incredible minds like Johnny Thorson, Jan McGrath that comes from MasterCard, senior executive roles, David Hughes that from senior executive roles at Qantas. Incredible individuals, my CTOs from my former startup. And I must say, all these people that are actually involved in the business, from fintech to travel tech to prop tech, have also invested cash in our pre-seed round. So I'm going to start by asking a question. How many apps do you think you use to plan a trip or just to make everyday plans? The answer is, on average, we use about 7 to 8. So the next one is, so why is it still so hard to make and share plans? Well, it starts off by that research on the Google, then on the social media side of things, then the recommendation apps, and then we start talking about the ticketing platforms or the Get Your Guides. Then we've got to think about our ride sharing. Then the weather here in Singapore, not so great right now. Then if you're traveling for business, expense management. Plus you've got a whole bunch of different things like booking.com for your hotels, airline apps, and everything else in between. So this is our solution. We've put it into a video. I hope you enjoy having a bit of a look at this.
Introducing the world's first super app for business and personal, designed for Web 2 and Web 3. With real-time and dynamic itineraries and recommendations on the fly. Find all your plans in one place. View upcoming trips, restaurant reservations, events, and entertainment. At Blackbook, we have put sustainability front of mind. View your carbon footprint for every trip. See how you are tracking against your goal and keep your followers accountable. Plus, offset trips and everyday plans for business and personal. We're all about making your life easy. After all, our lives are more blended today than ever before. Switching between profiles is easy. Plan and share business trips with your colleagues and clients. Plus, expense and reconcile everything at the same time. Don't worry, we'll automate all that for you. Plus, Blackbook connects to your favorite everyday business products like these. Other features include real-time notifications, view any delays, traffic incidents, hotel messages and travel alerts, new imports from email, and direct messages from friends, colleagues, and followers. Share what you're doing with our built-in social platform. Post photos and reels, and follow your favorite brands. Blackbook has a 24/7 concierge at your fingertips. Discuss your plans or get help making new plans. Plus share plans with your friends, family, or colleagues, all in the same place. Real-time, dynamic insider content and recommendations based on preferences and AI. Wherever you are in the world, no matter if you are in business mode or personal mode, find out what's on. Fresh content based on your preferences, covering travel, lifestyle, style, brands, health, and wellness. The last app you will ever need. One app, one login, one experience.
I hope you really enjoyed that. I'm going to whip through the technology side of things. It is the first super app that's designed to bridge Web 2 and Web 3. Web 3 is just not about NFTs, crypto, or the metaverse. We're building with self-sovereign identity, cross-borderless payments, crypto payments, and we build foundationally on DLT, so distributed ledger technology, all coupled with incredible microservices. What you've just seen has a full architecture solution, has been costed, and time for delivery. It is absolutely 100% real, and there is no hype to it. Where we sit in the market, traditional agencies, down there in the Web 2, super apps, the iconic ones, some great Web 3 businesses, and then we pop up here, the super app for Web 3. We make money through SaaS fees, service fees like Uber Eats, incredible distribution models, including we're talking to a number of hotel and airline loyalty programs to bring them onto our marketplace. We're at pre-seed, we're raising seed right now, exciting roadmap. And that's all, folks. The Connected Trip's here.
Thanks, JC. Nicely timed. Well done. Thanks very much. Judges, if you could please turn your cameras on and pop up. We'd love to hear if you've got some questions for JC. We have 3.5 minutes to have a quick conversation and ask some questions. Pam, Nicholas, Laura, Amit, CT, who'd like to present the first question? 3.5 minutes.
We cannot turn on the camera.
You have to help us put the cameras on.
I'm sorry?
We can't get the camera.
Okay, we got it on now.
Okay, great. You got it?
Yeah. So can I start with the first question, if you don't mind,
yes,
JC? Okay, JC, congratulations on the vision. Absolutely huge. Just wanted to ask, like, what will be your first few steps over the next 12 months? And this is a big vision. Where are you going to start from?
So we're starting in Asia Pacific. I guess we're building our infrastructure on multi-regional, multi-tenant. We've got an incredible microservices environment. The largest hurdles for us is Apple Store and Google Play for sure, but we will be sporadically, releasing APAC, North America and EMEA from the end of Q2 next year.
So, sorry, JC, I should have been a little more specific. What product would go first? Where will you get your first amount of traction?
First amount, yeah. So we basically got a very well-defined MVP that everything that you've seen comes out in MVP. So it's 6 months worth of development. Everything's sprint plan, timed, costed, aligned. Yeah, so there's a very detailed architecture document that's about 80 pages long, an integrations document that's about 100 pages long. We spent 2.5 years on R&D on this product. Yeah, it's quite extensive. It is quite large, but completely and utterly achievable based on the incredible APIs that a lot of the verticals have that we can use.
Thank you.
Pam, do you have a question?
Great. Hi, Jackie. Nick Cox here. Can you hear me okay?
Got you, yes.
Oh, great. Thanks for the presentation. Great to see what you guys are doing. Could you tell us about your customer acquisition approach?
Sure. We've got a great B2B strategy using social influencers. KPMG in Australia is our first pilot client with 10,000 employees as well, which is exciting for us. Social influencers, we've got a number of those under MOU that we're working through, and we're having some really exciting conversations with airline and hotel programs, loyalty programs. So they're advanced conversations we're having with quite a number of them. Because we're multi-tenant, multi-regional, and the way that we protect, member data and the way that we can aggregate member data for them, it's quite a nice way to grow our traction quite nicely. But we have a sweet spot in our financial model. We don't need to necessarily have millions and millions of users to be a good business. We're just focused on user experience and getting the customers to be really excited about this product and make it feel part of their everyday life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, JC. This is Laura. Thanks very much.
Hey, Laura.
For there too as well. Question more on the content. I know you're obviously using a lot of AI and APIs to bring a lot of the data in. Do you need to go out actively and source a lot more, or do you feel like you are in a stronger position?
Look, great question. We're working with the great folks at Spot Nana, very close to the guys there, so that we've got about 40 different sources of content. We're not planning to create any of our own content. If we were to do that, we would be building it for 10 years and it would cost us $100 million. So we have got solutions. If anyone wants to talk about it after this, happy to run you through how it's done. But the super app isn't years away. It's actually here. And we've spent 2.5 years of absolute slogging it to get the formula right. And we're pretty confident we've got it right.
Thank you.
If I can go next. Hi, this is Pam. So in terms of super app, you know that Asia Pacific is a super apps rising now. So how do you see yourself competing with those current super apps?
Yeah, I think, the existing super apps in Asia obviously are amazing and they're iconic. I think the big difference for us is our user experience, the way that we deliver content, the way that we're really trying to engage in everyone's daily lives.
JC, we're going to have to cut you off there. Thank you so much. Thanks, Pam. Sorry about that. We'll have you go first next time. All right. Thanks, everyone. All right. Well done, JC. We are moving on to our next startup. It's Mark Radford, the CEO of GoPass. Mark, we're moving on over to you. Let us know when you've got your presentation ready, and we will start the timer when you start speaking. So no worries.
I think video's launched.
Okay.
Is that clear, guys? Is that up?
Looks great.
Let's roll. So, yeah, thanks very much for the opportunity to present. I think we're all thankfully coming. I'm just super delighted that the event in October in Singapore will probably be the first face-to-face I've had for a long, long time. So we've all been living in this bit of a bubble and obviously trying to manage our risk through that. And that's what we're all about. So GoPass Global is a collection of travel experts and international analytical experts. And we basically put our mind to about 2.5 years ago, how could we assist this situation and how could we apply our skills to create something that's quite unique? And that's basically what we did. So we concentrated on COVID first, and we basically built out a platform that brought in about 35, 36 independent data sources and provided an output in seconds for people to analyze risk and also, to give them all the up-to-date information, etc., on rules and regulations that were changing very, very rapidly in the market. So that's COVID was a fantastic entry for us. And then we realized very quickly that actually full risk is a much needed product for pre-travel analysis. And I'll talk a little bit about that just shortly. But that's basically what we did. And we went to market with products and got immediate traction. And as we all know, one of the big issues in travel at the moment is being able to get good staff and to be able to power this growth that we're now seeing in industry. So to be able to insert a really key productivity tool that's aligned with the needs of ESG and also for corporations to fulfill their duty of care is really essential. So for us, just 8 seconds on the text slide, we're in cloud, open, rerun completely on Azure. The system runs internationally, and that enables us to provide enormous scalability and speed. So a full risk report at the moment takes about 4 seconds to produce. So this saves hours and hours of work, and that's really based upon where our architecture sits. So at the moment, we have 3 products already in the marketplace. We have the Optimizer Assessment and our Biorisk Map, which are being used widely at the moment. We're releasing a Navigator, Where Can You Go? And then our real objective is to get a full risk analytical product out into the marketplace later this year. So as I mentioned, we got fantastic traction straight out of the box around our COVID product. And this was fantastic for us to test the model, to test the market, and actually start to get into revenue with customers. And then once you're doing that, of course, they become your developers, right? They're guiding you on where you should be going. And we've had a huge amount of support for our direction in full risk going forward. So one of the things that are really supporting us in the marketplace is, of course, the ISO 31030 standard, which was released last September. And this plays perfectly into our market objective of providing full risk in that pre-travel space. So as we know in the industry, a lot of stuff is predicated around P&R. Once you actually book and pay for a trip, that triggers a lot of crisis management and other products. We see a huge opportunity in this area for pre-travel assessment on full risk. And that's basically what we're funding for and setting up to go to expand our portfolio in the market now. So I'm sorry, really busy slide, but when we're talking about full risk, at the moment we're doing COVID and transit points and hotspots and rules and regulations. We're going to be expanding that bio portfolio to things like, we're already seeing things like the monkeypox and the flu, which is going to be a really bad season for us, but also societal risk, political risk, and geo risk, economic, all wrapped up into, again, that same single button experience that our users are doing there. So we're going to be pretty focused in that full risk product, in that corporate, around the ISO 31030 framework. But the use cases, there are many applications for this. We already have insurance companies as customers going forward. So as I said, it really boils down to a very simple thing. I can have an understaffed agency office that's taking hours to try and accumulate all this data, or a corporate travel manager that's trying to do the same, or they can do it in seconds. It's very simple. So one of the things that we need to do is to make that very accessible, okay? So at the moment, for a new agency to come on board to use the product, that takes 24 hours. So they can be on our portal, utilizing reports for their customers and on selling them immediately.
Mark, your time is up, I'm afraid, but it sounds like lots of use cases for pre-trip data on risk, and I'm sure our judges will have lots of questions for you. If the judges are ready to start asking some questions, I know Pam and CT, we didn't get to you last round. If you want to pop up some questions first, that would be fantastic. And please address them to Mark.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Mark. Thanks for the presentation. Just relating to code, so this is very good information for the pre-trip. I just wonder, how do you see your top key things that you can make customers stick to you? What is the differentiation versus others?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, there's what we do. If you were to say, okay, I'm flying Singapore to London, we rank every single flight, route, transit point, airport, etc. But the differentiation is we provide that in a very simple score to the end user. So
can I ask you to put your take your slide down as well, please? Thank you.
Sorry, I missed that.
Oh, could we ask you to take your slide down, please?
Gotcha.
Thanks.
So that's the key point, Pam, is that every time you run an assessment, it is run in real time at that point. So this is not legacy data that we're using. It is a real-time analytics platform that we've built.
Yeah.
Hi, Mark. This is CT from Trip.
Hi, CT.
Thank you for the presentations, the very good presentation and very good propositions. My questions will be, how do you ensure the duty of care, the accuracy of the information that you're sending to your customers?
Sure. That's a great question. We live in this analytics space. So we have 4 data scientists that build the analytical models, all against there's 4 or 5 different standards. I know in travel, ISO 310, I think it's the first ISO standard. In data analytics, there's many standards that already exist that govern how you analyze and present data, how you use your statistical models as well. And we actually have a patent around our modeling with that data, and that's led by Dr. Martin Roberts, who was with ABS, Statistics ABS for 25 years.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Laura.
Yeah, can I? Oh, Laura, go.
Okay. Go ahead, Amit.
Thanks, Mark. Very exciting proposition. I saw a number of $50 per trip. Can you let me know what does that stand for in your presentation?
So that would be, yeah, that's our target pricing for the full risk analysis. So a full pre-travel risk analysis.
For one trip.
For one trip, correct. Yeah. But we run a number of different other pricing models as well. But that's what our market analysis has come back with. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks, Laura.
Thanks. And Mark, you mentioned that it's like travel agents, the touch of a button, and also for travel managers. So your target audience is all travel agencies and all businesses with significant.
Correct. So those businesses that want to align themselves with that ISO 31030 standard, and or just provide really good duty of care and analysis for their employees, that'll be our major target market for the full risk product. Yes.
And you have a different pricing model based on whether it's a corporation versus an agency.
Correct. Yep.
That's great. We're just out of time. Thanks very much, Mark, for your presentation. Well
Pleasure.
done.
Thanks all.
Thanks, judges. All right, next up, we have Craig McIntosh, founder and CEO of Jiang Yu Just Trip. Craig, the floor is yours. Please make sure that you're unmuted so that everyone's able to hear you. And when you've got all your slides up, we will enable you to start your presentation. And when you start speaking, you'll have 5 minutes on the clock.
Okay, are you able to see the screen and hear me?
Yep, we can.
Okay, all right, let's get going. Hello, everyone. Okay. I am Craig McIntosh, the founder of Jiang Yu Just Trip, based in Sydney, Australia. We are a company developing smartphone travel guides for English and Chinese travelers. Hang on. Sorry, it's just not rolling to the next screen. Just bear with me, sorry. The first travel guide was written in 1486, and over the next 500 years, travel guides became an essential travel tool. Travel guides address the need to feel confident and safe in a new destination, and for travelers to have authentic and engaged local experiences. This need is even greater for Chinese travelers who face significant cultural and information barriers when going abroad. But consider when you last used a travel guide, probably ages ago, as the world has become totally digital and the traditional travel guide sector is bogged down with archaic revenue models and aging customers. During a recent trip to Europe, I looked for an app to explore Rome and Madrid the way I wanted to, but couldn't find one. So I decided to create one for myself using content and functionality that would make travel guides sexy again. Our solution harnesses the power of smartphones to create beautiful city guides packed full of information, imagery, mapping, walking routes, online bookings, and much more. Our technology is infinitely scalable, and our guides are designed to capture as much in-destination spend as possible, from accommodation and car hire to tickets and meals. 11 cities have been published to date, and our app is freely available on Android, iOS, and WeChat. Sorry, bear with me. We also spotted the massive potential of China, so publish our guides in both English and Mandarin. Our guides cover every stage of the travel journey, and by being multi-destinational, they will have a lifetime appeal to users. Some extra magic is the thousands of points of interest that are embedded throughout our guides, which can be saved as a must-see list or can be used to customize an outing for every day. Our guides also contain nifty functionality like a Take Me Home safety feature at the end of each day. And our Mandarin guides contain additional content relevant to Chinese travelers, including a Dakar point system that is being developed. We also have over 2,500 Mandarin audio files associated with each point of interest. Regarding revenue streams, for B2B, we will license our content and functionality for a fee or a strategic advantage. And for B2C, we will earn commission on bookings for accommodation, car hire, and travel activities. At the outset, we will adopt an affiliate, not OTA model. Book buttons are embedded at the point of interest level, or a user can access all bookable product in our booking module. Tickets is our first booking partner with an attractive 50% commission share. More will follow. For example, Booking.com, which offers 8% commission on accommodation bookings. The reopening of China is a moving target, most likely to occur in late 2023 based on recent announcements. In the second half of 2022, therefore, we will focus on our consumer marketing to English travelers and for strategic partnerships relating to any B2B opportunity. Our Chinese consumer marketing will have to be ramped up slowly. In relation to China, independent research confirms a gap for Just Trip as an in-depth destination-focused solution, consistent with our aim to give Chinese travelers a real connection with a destination. For English language markets, we believe that a similar market opportunity exists, provided that we produce the most powerful and in-depth city guides available. In 2019, China was the largest outbound travel market, worth over $250 billion from 150 million trips. Based on pre-COVID trip numbers, 5% market penetration, spend capture of $100 per user, and an 8% commission rate, our China revenue could be 60 million US per annum. For English travelers, we believe the same revenue potential exists, led by the US market. The global travel activities market is also massive. We have a passionate, well-balanced English Mandarin team in place. I am an accountant by training with 20 years of senior management experience, including travel. Our current focus is building the machine for public release, and by that stage, we will have 13 guides published and additional booking partners. We will then commence English marketing, gleaning our first market data later in the second half of this year. Consumer marketing to the Chinese market has been pushed back to late 2022. We believe that we are at or near minimum viable product stage right now. Everything has been founder funded to date, and that can continue for the foreseeable future, at least
Okay, Craig, thanks very much. Your time is up, and we gave you a few extra seconds for the technical difficulties at the front. So thanks very much for your presentation. Travel guides for Chinese travelers, pretty interesting stuff. I bet there are lots of questions from our judges. So let's bring them up and hear what they have to say.
If I can start then. Thanks very much, Craig, for the presentation. I think it's great. You mentioned marketing when you plan to launch. Marketing is the way forward. What is your plan really to take that out to the market? And you said marketing, but how are you really planning to launch that, and how do you gain customers?
Look, it's something that's switching around a lot because of what's happening with the Chinese market. But if we look at the English market, what I want to do next, once I'm ready, which is probably about a month or two away, start with some of the English language markets and do very simple Google ads, advertising, social advertising, and focus on one particular city, because I next want to get market data. So I'm going to use a fairly simple, somewhat traditional consumer marketing approach on social media, but I'll be able to focus that very much on one particular city and measure how much activity we get around downloads, user activity, length of stay, and bookings through the ticket partnership, and whatever else we might have in place by then, which will definitely include booking.com. And then I plan to grow the marketing out sort of incrementally. The Chinese market is a little bit more complicated, exactly how we're going to tackle that because of the size of the market, but it will at the beginning be a similar slowly but steady approach, you know, very grassroots marketing.
Thank you.
Hi, Craig. Nick Cox here. Thanks for the presentation. Sorry, I've got my camera off. I'm on the move, but really enjoyed what you had to say. Could you tell us a little bit about how you keep the content up to date in a world where things change so quickly?
Yeah, so we've tapped into the freelancer community. So all of the content is actually written by us. So if you go and have a look at our app, which is live, you can see what we've written. I think a key unique selling point of ours is that the content is very deep and curated and very well written. So it gives the user a very strong connection with the city. And especially for the Chinese travelers, we've dug in and looked up what are the Chinese connections between China and a particular city. We're developing a lot of content that is proprietary to make our guides extremely useful. You know, information about everything you need to know in a destination, but all written by freelancers and then reviewed and translated by us.
Great, thank you.
Craig, quickly, 1 minute left. So how do you make money out of this? Can you just share the profit plan?
The main plan, or the first revenue stream, I think others will follow, but let me say our primary focus is on commission income. So we've got, like if you found a place of interest, if you were reading our arts and culture chapter and you saw the museum in a particular city, you'll be able to book that museum from that point in the guide, or you'll be able to jump across to the bookings module and book activities or tickets or your hotel accommodation through the app. And we will have affiliate relationships with the likes of booking.com or Tickets in Amsterdam that give us a commission share on every booking that is generated from users in our guides.
Thanks.
We want to keep the app free so that there's no barrier to using the app.
So Craig, can I ask you, which all cities do you have the guides ready for already?
Sydney, Melbourne, Seoul, Singapore, Barcelona, Madrid, London.
And that's a wrap for questions. Thanks very much, Craig. That was a fantastic presentation. Really appreciate it. We are moving along to the next one. Thank you. Okay, bringing up to the stage So Izuka from Trambolier, who will be presenting to us now. So please let us know when you've got your presentation up and loaded, and we'll start the clock as soon as you start speaking.
All right, thank you. Can you hear me clearly?
We can hear you.
All right, can you see the slide as well?
Yes, you're all set. We'll start the clock.
All right, thank you. The online marketplace for wellness holidays, that's at Trambolier, enriching your holidays with rejuvenating and refreshing experience. A next generation of tour and activity inventory. I'm So Izuka, co-founder, CEO of Trambolier, and I am a full-time intestinal follicular surgery survivor. Health management is important, but simply keeping up to it can be rather boring, even for me. So travel to different countries or experience wellness trips on the side to add up some spice. Now that is when the twist comes in. As travelers or remote workers, it's headache to arranging routine medical and beauty treatments whenever, wherever they are in the era of work from anywhere, in terms of language, price transparency, service quality, and international patient friendliness. We are providing aggregated booking platform for wellness treatment with a direct-to-patient model and cash-pay healthcare online global marketplace. Things are made easier. Developed API and white label for distribution partners and DX solutions for medical institutions to build ecosystem and envelop our partners. And that's not all. Some move to earn, care to earn entertainment future will be another exciting target. Pandemic has surely opened our eyes that prevention is crucial, and transforming health management into entertainment remains our mission. Global market of wellness and medical tourism are another frontier for travel industry. And this is just a part of $6.5 trillion of global expenditure for health. And average annual out-of-pocket household spending percentage on health is 31.3%. Singapore 58, Indonesia 52, China 34%. Yes, it's a huge potential there to bring them into travel industry with OTA strategy and technology. We have organized API with 200 millisecond response time and a flexible white label to be connected with hotels, airlines, OTAs, and travel agencies to supply ancillary revenue stream as unique travel inventory supplier for stronger and better travel recovery and beyond. Let's talk about numbers. What I want to highlight today is that these numbers are all purely organic growth rates over the last 3 years. There are plenty of fake signs of growth when you are using marketing fees in startup stage, but this is real and concrete sign that our business has potential, and it's been validated for past 2 years. CEO is specializing in business development and strategic partnership through my career of 17 years of entrepreneurial experience and execution. And the CTO has accurate understanding of IT resources and investment required in each phase from startup to IPO through his career as former CTO at Beltra. Also, Japanese physicians is in our team, and we can always check and review our content accuracy. You might not be able to believe it now, but in 10 years' time, it will be common that people are visiting clinics for their well-being at travel destinations as new experience habits. And we are the one who are leading the segment. We believe that this initiative will also mitigate issues of over-tourism as we offer alternative activities at travel destinations. And it's about time we reconceptualize health management to the next level for sustainable development goals. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So with a little under a minute to spare, time for us to bring our judges.
Sorry, I can't hear you, Kimberly.
Oh, sorry, I'm unmuted. Can anyone else hear me? Can you give me a wave, Laura?
Yeah, you're good.
Can you hear me? Okay, so we're gonna go to judges' questions. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, all good.
So can you hear us?
Yeah.
So can you hear us?
So maybe remove your earphones.
How about now? Can you hear us?
Having a little audio trouble here.
So I guess he can't hear us. So.
I'll ask him to remove his headset.
It looks like So can't hear us. So we just asked him to remove headphones. And we'll keep talking to see if he can hear us now.
Let's see if that helps. So
still cannot hear you.
Oh dear. Okay.
Oh yeah, yes.
You got it? Okay, great. Laura, do you want to go ahead with the first question?
Sure, happy to start. So thank you very much for the presentation. I think it's super exciting to think about wellness in the tourism industry. Quick question on how you plan to monetize it. What's the commercial model and how do you make money?
All right. Currently, we made a partnership with a medical institution directly, and we take 10 to 40% commission per booking.
Okay, from the institute they go to.
Yeah, service provider. Yeah, that's kind of the average percentage is at 20 to 30%.
Okay, thank you.
So
how about,
can I go next?
Yes, sorry, Amit, go ahead.
Thanks. So the use case so far for the past few years, has it been people have already traveled to the destination and now they've discovered that there's health management or some treatments to be done? Or is it from the source country itself, you source those customers and taken them for that specific purpose?
All right, thanks for asking. There are like two different type of the booking we occur. One is like the customer already decided to go where, and they are seeking some like additional activities such as the teeth whitening or the cosmetic dermatology or some like energy IV drip. And that's one of the part of the booking occur. And the other one is like a more like serious kind of the surgeries one. They are looking for some treatment or surgeries and where to find the best and the cheap destination. And they come to inquiry to us.
And your biggest source market is?
It's like Malaysia and Thailand at the moment. Yeah, and we received a lot of inquiry of the Japan, but unfortunately, Japan is not opening the border yet. So yeah, the customer is still waiting for the border reopening. Thank you so much.
Sorry, this is CT from Trip.com. Is there a certain demographic of customers that's into your products, which you say you're recurring having some great growth?
I mean a customer?
Customer demographic.
Okay, mostly we receive from the US and Europe. I think this is because of they have a more open-minded for the taking the medical treatment abroad. And the booking happening within Southeast Asia because they provide a cheaper and more hospitality services to the international customers.
Got just under a minute left. Pam or Nick, do you have questions?
Yeah, hi. So Nick here from Velocity. Good to see you again. Sorry, I'm not off camera. Great to see the progress you guys have made since we last met. Could you tell us a bit about how you give customers assurance on the choices that they're making? Medical care is a very personal choice, and so how does a customer get an understanding of what it is that they're buying and comfort around their choice of doctor or whoever it might be?
All right. Our inventory is focusing on like casual treatments such as teeth whitening and energy IV drip. That sort of things is not very important to who are actually treating. So even so, we mentioned all details clearly on the platform, and the customer
okay. I'm afraid we have to cut you off, but thank you so much for your presentation. So it was great and interesting to learn about what you're up to. We'll be moving on to our next presenter, Benjamin Asweed, founder of Work Lounge. Benjamin, welcome to the stage. And as with the other presenters, please unmute yourself and get your slides up and loaded so that we're able to see them, and we'll give you a quick test and start you off. We're happy to have you here.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Can you hear me?
We can. We'll start the clock.
Okay. Let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to think of the feeling that you feel when you walk into a 5-star luxury hotel and how inspiring and motivating it can be. With that in mind, it's interesting to note that there's more remote workers in the world than ever before, looking for places where they can get inspired. High-earning professionals like doctors, lawyers, engineers that had never worked remotely before this pandemic are now able to work from anywhere in the world. Last year, we saw a huge gap in the luxury office industry, and we took it as an opportunity to develop and launch a high-end workspace distribution platform called Work Lounge. Work Lounge is a membership program that distributes access to executive lounges of luxury hotels as a flexible office solution for high-earning professionals. Currently, we have 37 lounges in 3 countries, in 10 cities, and we've built an app that is able to connect our members seamlessly with our hotel partners. Our members are able to purchase a membership, which will generate a unique QR code directly inside their app. Once on arrival at the hotel, they're able to present their QR code, get scanned, and escorted directly into these executive lounges where hot beverages and cold water will be waiting for them. In the future, they'll be able to book directly conference rooms, spa treatments, hotel rooms, and other services that are offered on the property. Our customer acquisition model has 3 layers: B2C, targeting high-earning executives and remote workers; B2B, for corporations and companies looking to offer Work Lounge as an employee benefit. But our biggest opportunity is going to come from the B2B2C. Credit card companies, banks, airline, loyalty programs that already have millions of customers and loyalty members in their network. We've spoken to some of the biggest banks in Thailand, and they see Work Lounge as the natural evolution and progression of a member benefit like Priority Pass, and we couldn't agree with them more. I actually had to work on this slide last night because we just got featured inside our first Thai bank website, where their credit card customers are now able to purchase Work Lounge passes directly with their credit card points. But this is just the beginning. We have deals in the pipeline with airlines, other credit card companies. We just signed an agreement with an NFT crypto project, and we're starting to get featured more and more travel websites. Our founding team, I spent the last few years before COVID developing my own hotel brand targeting wellness travelers and remote workers, which gave me a deep understanding of what these customers are looking for and the value they can bring to our hotel partners. Miho was actually working on building some of the highest SEO ranked remote working websites before joining our team, and has been part of multiple hospitality tech projects, and is continuing to improve the experience for our members inside the app. Some of our initial founders and some of our initial investors include the founder of Outpost, which is the largest co-living, co-working hotel brand in Southeast Asia. We have the CEO of Outpost, the CEO of Hackers Paradise, and Daniel Beck, which has been part of half a dozen startups and participated in an exit. We raised $150,000 to build the MVP and the network that I just mentioned. We're currently looking for another $500,000 to be able to deepen the technology development and build the customized tools that are needed for these bigger B2B2C deals. The future of remote working is now. And with the hospitality industry looking for new and innovative ways to recover from this pandemic, Work Lounge is the perfect partner for them. Not only are we able to drive additional traffic to their property and generate additional revenues, but in the process, we're able to build and deliver these customized luxury work experiences for our members. We're excited about the future and what's ahead, and we look forward to developing the largest workspace distribution platform in the world. Thank you.
Thanks, Benjamin. Right on time. Well done. It's always a good day. All right, judges, I'm sure a lot of you would like to work in a luxury lounge. So let's tee up some questions for Benjamin, and we'll start the clock as soon as the first question is asked.
I can start. Benjamin, thanks very much. Also a very exciting proposition. How do you view yourself against the competition? Obviously, there's a lot of co-working spaces popping up with memberships. How do you view your competition there and set yourself aside apart?
Yes, absolutely. So that's really why I wanted to emphasize in the beginning of the presentation that this is going to be a product for high-earning executives that don't feel like the current offerings of the co-working spaces is the right fit for them. You know, WeWork is more like startup, cool, like younger profile. But really, if you look at the luxury office offering, you either have to commit to a 12-month commitment inside of these luxury office buildings, or there's not really a product that's available for somebody a little bit more evolved in their careers who still want to wear a nice suit and be in an executive environment.
Okay, thank you. I can build on it, but I'll let the others go.
Yes. So, Benjamin, what is your supply acquisition strategy? Where are you going to get these lounges or the hotel lounges from? And how much do you think you're going to charge a member a month?
Yes, great question. So the value proposition to the hotels is that we pay for the entire customer acquisition. We drive additional traffic to their property. We pay them on a per visit basis, and we allow them to keep 100% of the upsells once our members are there. The average rate for the membership is going to be $210 per members. Out of that 210, we're paying out 45% on average to the hotels to create a real partnership where we're constantly driving additional value for them as opposed to extracting value. With the remaining 65%, we have operational costs, and we're always looking for ways to continue giving back to members with extra guest passes, afternoon tea sets, you know, whatever it is that can enhance their experience and continue to build their loyalty to our brand.
And how many hotels do you already have on the
We have 30.
platform?
We have 37 hotels. Most of them are in Thailand, but we're also launched last month in Vietnam, and we're launching with the first Accor hotel in Cambodia. So there's huge appetite for this product in Dubai. I just came back from the ATM, but as a lot of investors and incubators I've spoken with before, they said, don't spread yourself too thin, you know, get the right players in Thailand, and then you can, you know, keep expanding. But this has worldwide positioning potential very rapidly.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We've got about 32 seconds remaining. Pam?
Hi. So if things not go well, like within like a year or so? What is your plan? How do you what is your plan after that?
So this is why we're really focused on the B2B2C, because when we've spoken to Thai banks, they've had a lot of complaint with their premier credit card holders that most of the benefits they offer is for traveling. So this is an amazing substitute for people that are still within the country looking to be able to benefit from credit card benefits. So
and time is up. Thanks so much, Benjamin. Really appreciate your explaining your business for us, and thanks for attending. Thanks also to all of the startups from Asia and all of our judges who took the time to be here today and also do quite a bit of advanced work to participate with us today. They've got their work cut out for them. We've got an app that organizes insider content, pre-trip data on risk, travel guides for Chinese travelers, global wellness medical treatment, and a luxury work lounge membership app. All of them do so much more and probably have lots of other applications that we'll be looking forward to hearing about more as they evolve. Again, thanks to all of our judges. We really appreciate your time and energy. We couldn't do it without you. This concludes the first segment and our participants for the Asia Pacific region. We'll be moving on next to India. So for those of you who are staying or joining us, we're delighted to have a great panel of judges who are joining us from all over to judge the India section of the Global Startup Pitch Competition. First off, we have Francesca Godino, who's joining us from Amadeus. Thanks very much, Francesca. Gaurav Bhatnagar from TVO.com. Good to see you again. And also another friend of Phocuswright and WiT, Rajiv Kumar, founder of Mystifly. Welcome, judges. We're delighted to have you, and thanks again for taking the time to be here with us today. Our first startup is Aditya Daruga, co-founder of Darwin Travel Tech. Aditya, please bring up your presentation, and as with the other participants, if you could double check your mute button to make sure that we can hear you. And as soon as we can see that you're up and live and audible, we will kick you off and start the countdown clock for 5 minutes. Welcome to the stage.
Just 1 second, it says start my video. I don't think so. I need to start the video, right?
We can see your presentation.
Okay. All right, excellent. Great. Okay. Thank you, Kimberly. Hi, all the judges from for India. So we are Trip Darwin. We are here to simplify bespoke holidays. We are from Mumbai, India, and we were founded in 2016. The problem that we are trying to solve is the traveler, the end traveler, is getting a GIT solution. Now, what do we mean by that? The FIT traveler wants full control of his holiday, relaxing holiday, flexibility, stress-free, and newer destinations and newer experiences. But this is what they get: limited options, opaque bundled pricing, zero customization, inflexible itineraries. And hence, they either go online and search multiple sessions or travel sites, and it takes approximately 19 days to complete a booking. This is as per Google data. Or they would go to a travel agent. Who is our customer? Our customer is a travel agent. The problem for the travel agent is that there is a big knowledge gap in servicing customized holiday needs of the traveler. Dependency on offline local suppliers, and hence it is time consuming. So these guys, whenever they receive a request from a customer, they would forward it to a local supplier who would then take 2 or 3 days to revert back with a quote, and then they would mark up and send it to the customer. Slow process. And the biggest challenge is the bigger suppliers or the bigger travel agents get priority over the smaller ones. So what have we done? We've built a platform for bespoke holidays with instant customization and booking option. And the most important part is our itineraries are created on the fly. The business model, we do a service specific markup for every holiday package that is booked through our system. And this could average between 7 to 10% depending upon what components have been used in the package. The market size for travel agent holidays, big enough. Market validation. So we've done serviced close to 2,000 plus travelers through 50 travel agents in India, Nepal, and UAE. We've done a GMV of 1.4 million US dollars so far. And our current clients include a large OTA in Southeast Asia and India. We have 21 bank customers, which gives us access to 100 million plus customers in India. Then there is a travel agent network of 600 travel agents, right? The competitive landscape. So if I were to differentiate us from other partners or players is based on these 5 criteria. One is personalized itinerary. But except for Pathfinder, we haven't come across any other company which can give you a personalized itinerary. Customization is either offline or limited. Very important, multi-city trips. Very difficult to get multi-city trips anywhere. And the way people are doing multi-city trips is by preloading a set itinerary. And then they're trying to sell that holiday. Intelligent itinerary. Our itineraries are based on shortest route and best way to travel between 3 or 4 cities. And the most important one is destination logic. We have added destination logic for more than 130 plus countries in the system, which helps us create these itineraries on the fly. About the team, that's me, Aditya. I have more than 15 years experience in travel industry. I've done my master's in computer science from California. And after that, I joined KPMG as an ethical computer hacker. And frankly, after 4 years, I got bored. And because of my KPMG job, I traveled quite a lot. So I got into this travel business. The other co-founder, Nikhil, is he's handling the technology. He's also been with KPMG for a long time and has active interest in technology as well. Yeah, that's my presentation.
Thanks, Aditya, with a couple of seconds to spare. Very rare. Well done. All right. Thanks very much. I'd like to ask the judges to please bring their cameras up and double check to make sure they're off mute. Welcome, Rajiv, Gaurav, and Francesca. We're happy to have you here. And I'm sure you have some questions. As soon as you start asking, we will start the clock for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Aditya?
Thank you, Kimberly. Hi, Aditya. This is Gaurav here from TBO. Can you talk a little bit about the destination logic? Just give us an example, like, how does destination logic work for somebody booking a multi-destination itinerary for Europe, for example?
Yeah. So basically, the logic is written in such a way that if somebody is traveling to Europe, then you would probably see a point-to-point transfer options between 2 cities. Whereas if somebody is doing a package for India, for example, in India, people prefer a car at disposal. That's like the standard way of doing things in India. So you would automatically see a car at disposal coming up for India. Similarly, there is logic written for South America, US, Australia, the popular way with which people travel, but you're free to change it. You're free to do it as per your wish.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Aditya. This is Francesca. Thanks for your presentation. I'm a bit confused because you mentioned in your presentation that your target customers are travel agencies, but then your site looks like it's like a B2B2C site. So are you offering a platform to travel agents to use to do personalized travel? How does it work?
Yes. So travel agents can log into a website and make packages and send it to their customers offline as a PDF. Okay. We also have the option of B2B2C, where we have got a lot of interest from big OTAs in India to do a white label solution and launch in Southeast Asia and the countries as well. So yeah, both options are available currently. And we also have a B2C option currently, which we are not focusing on right now with the complications in travel. We would like to go through the travel agent model, but all three options are ready.
Okay, thank you.
Right. The biggest advantage for, sorry.
Go on.
Yeah, the biggest advantage for travel agents is it improves their efficiency big time because they can quickly forward the itinerary to the customer in less than 5 minutes. And everything is real time, nothing is subject to availability. Yes, Raji.
Yeah, hi Aditya, good job. What's been your first few successful markets since the time you've launched in 2016?
I would say Nepal was the first one because what we saw was Nepalis were selling only Asia. They had absolutely no knowledge of Europe. So they started using our system to sell Europe as a destination. In India, we found that people are very busy with the packaged holiday, and they found it very confusing and difficult to do custom holidays. So we kept changing our system to cater to different audiences, and we still need to work on our UI to further simplify it such that it is as simple to book a holiday as you would do for a hotel. So like instead of saying I want a hotel in London, you would say I want a package for Switzerland, and everything is ready. Just single click, it's ready, send it to the customer, book.
Cool. So of your 1.6 million or in total gross booking value that you said you've done till now, what percentages come from the Nepali market?
It's about 50%.
Okay.
Okay, we've got about 10 seconds left. Any quick questions that we want to put to Aditya? If not, thank you so much for your presentation. It was fantastic. We're going to move on to our next presenter. Thanks again for being here. All right, Sanjeev Malhotra, a CEO of Get Out Travel System. You're up, and we'll ask you to bring your presentation up live. Double check that mute button and make sure that we can hear you. As soon as we're able to, we'll start the countdown clock for 5 minutes. Thanks for coming, Sanjeev.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
And can you see the presentation as well?
Yes.
Fine, hi. Hello everyone, this is Sanjeev. I'm going to present to Smart Travel Ecosystem, and I'm the founder of WiT Get Out Travel. How are we going to add value in the travel industry? Challenges that we perceive in the travel as of now. So in leisure travel, by booking disorder, we mean that a traveler being able to choose destination A and B with knowledge of personalization and the little visual contents so that they can save time. For business travel, we experience there are major challenges, more pain points for the travel programs. The key ones are the travel policy compliance, opaque rates, budget versus spend data, and lack of support in times of the need. Our solution in the leisure travel is that we would want to, we are offering live video content or services or destinations or activities or events in real time for offers and events so that the users or the travelers, they make right informed or better informed decisions that will build trust over a period of time. In terms of business travel, we have end-to-end automation. We have 4 modules. We shall cover that in detail in the subsequent slides. Sustainability is something which is very core to us. We plan to incentivize and offer credits so that we promote sustainable travel and eco-friendly travel. Now, in terms of business travel automation, we streamline, we have end-to-end automated processes. So we have 4 modules. First is travel compliance, where we map the organization, their employees, their entitlements, their grades, and their travel policy through self-configurable rules. Then we have a payment solution where we have partnered with different banks in India, where they allow the corporate or the travel manager can issue physical credit cards or virtual credit cards or single-use credit cards, or even user-funded cards for startups and small and medium enterprises who don't have strong financials. We have a self-booking tool, which allows them to make a booking in real time and GST compliant invoices in real time, even for the hotels. In terms of expenses and reconciliation, we have an expense management app, which is mapped through the network card provider data, so that we complete the loop by mapping the spend data with the invoice data. And then last, we do the integration with the SAP or Oracle or any financial management system, so that it saves time and the pain point of accounts bookkeeping. We have multiple suppliers and tech interfaces. For mid to large corporates, through the tech interfaces, we connect our customers or corporates directly with the service providers, which are hotels and the airlines, the pre-negotiated rates. And for the global content, we have suppliers across the globe. In terms of spend, we have the functionalities where we provide control to the travel manager or the finance guys to track and manage the spends. So there are category controls, there are spend controls, location controls, and time controls for at each individual level as well. Simple expenses is as simple as snapping a receipt and initiating the expense and reporting. Now let's take an example of a live example in terms of when you're for a traveler. So we are providing in-destination services through push notifications and matching the interest of a traveler. We connect them with real-time events, activities, person, or places. This we call it travel DPT, when good things are happening, when you're not even looking for it. So all in one app, so that you don't have to navigate through multiple apps and save time. We plan to start with India market, where we are servicing the SME startups, and then upgrade towards mid to large organizations. And our revenue model is through subscription, markups, and commissions.
Okay, Sanjeev, we'll have to stop you there. You've hit your 5-minute time, so we're
already.
We're going to move on to judges. So the judges are ready to ask some questions. If you wouldn't mind, please putting your slide down, Sanjeev. We'll move on to the question component of the presentation.
So, Sanjeev, if I may go first. Corporate travel has all these other services as well, right? Like Forex, Visa, meet and greet, reissuances. So how do you, address all that friction that a typical offline TMC addresses?
See, in terms of the reissuances, so we partner with GDS. So they have automatic ATCS where the flight modifications are managed through technology. And there are definitely going to be some services which will be provided through our travel consultants, and that is what we plan to offer. In terms of visa and other add-on services, we partner with tech partners and service providers who offer these services to our customers. But our main objective is to provide a single window tech platform where they get a platform, a tool, and content. We have the platform, we are providing the tool, and the content is coming either directly through us by partnering with airlines and service providers through tech interfaces, and the content which comes from global and service providers as well.
Got it. Thank you.
Sanjeev, if you can give us some overview in terms of your customer adoption. How many customers have you been able to sign up since the launch?
We launched this year only, earlier. This is in the month of January, we have launched, and we have signed up 5 customers. We have partnered with 5 banks, and wherein we are providing an arrangement where we'll be servicing their corporate customers. We are partnered with consultants, which are basically in the accountancy firms, and chartered accountants, which are bringing small and medium enterprises and promoting us in their segment.
So what's your roadmap for, let's say, first 1 million in terms of net revenue?
So the first roadmap is that we're starting with the India operations. We plan to have target these small and medium enterprises, startups through self-registration module, approaching mid-sized segments, mid-sized corporates through a direct sales activities. And third one is through some partnership and alliances with banks, which gets us inroads into the corporate segment of large accounts.
Sure, thank you.
Hi, Sanjeev. Could I ask a question? I saw your plan is to continue in India and then to go global. Any prioritization in terms of which region you are expanding to?
So number one, we're starting from India.
Global
Second
is very big.
Yeah. The second one is that we plan to do 15 countries in next 5 years. And those regions would be, one is Indonesia, which is very important for us, Turkey, Europe, we are looking at France, we're looking at Germany, and then North America.
And in terms of the prioritization, is it around the number of business travelers coming from those regions, or what's the logic? Like which markets?
The logic is the business travel spend of that market, the growth rate of that region, and then also what is the opportunity in terms of what value add we can bring. It's a competitive zone, competitive market, where we will be able to like prioritize in terms of the benefits and value adds we can offer in that segment or in that region.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and that wraps up our question and answer period for this session. Thanks very much, Sanjeev, for your presentation today. I do have a note from my colleagues who have advised that for the judges who are using the Google Doc judging sheets, they are now editable. We had a little bit of a glitch, which has been resolved. So now you are able to edit your scoring directly on the judging sheets that we provided via the link before the event. Feel free to continue to use what you've got if you prefer, but it is possible for you to do to make your scoring in real time on the sheets. So thank you for that. Next up, we have Trip Shifu. We have Mahim Mehta who will be presenting. Mahim, if you can bring up your presentation, you'll have 5 minutes to present to the judges. Let us know when you're ready, and we will start the 5-minute clock as soon as we hear you starting. Yes, we can hear you. Are you ready?
And can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, great. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mahim, and I'm the co-founder of Trip Shifu. It's no secret that everyone loves a great holiday. But at the same time, it's also not a secret that no one really likes spending time and energy in planning their holiday. And that is why you would find that 80% of Indians currently use a travel agent when planning international holiday. But this travel agents industry is a highly fragmented industry with over 300,000 travel agents in India. A majority of them are small and medium-sized agents, which means that they have limited resource to gain personal experience of the destinations that they are selling to the end traveler. At the same time, the distribution channel is multi-tiered, which means there are operators who actually handle the activities on ground. Then there are DMCs which aggregate them and distribute them. There are representation houses, there are B2B sellers, there are large medium TAs who in turn sells to small TAs. All this complexity makes the information flow very inefficient, which means when a traveler actually raises a question to his agent, the agent has to further seek it back the chain, and the entire process becomes highly inefficient and sometimes delayed and incomplete also. These two problems of having a lack of personal experience and a lack of complete information can result in an inferior holiday experience for traveler. And that is why we have built Trip Shifu. Trip Shifu is a platform which enables experienced travelers to help plan trips of people within their social circle and get rewarded in turn. So what exactly is Trip Shifu? In Trip Shifu, Shifu replaces the traditional travel agent. Who is a Shifu? A Shifu is a person who is trusted by a traveler. He's from his or her own social network. He's a person who has a personal experience of a particular destination, is willing to help others plan their trip. And what does a Shifu get? He or she would get a monetary reward. There's no capital investment required, and there's no operational challenge for the Shifu. How does a traveler experience a better travel? But because he's getting a first-hand experience from someone who has been there and done that, it's the information is complete and personally vetted. At the same time, for operators also, the operations become much smoother because there are no surprises. Many a times travel agents communicate something to the end traveler while the actual operator has no clue what has been committed. This all creates a lot of last minute hassles, results in poor reviews. So by removing all this, the operator gets no confusion, has no last minute hassles, and get better reviews, which means increased business. We have built this based on our own experience as a travel agent. So Nitin and I, the other co-founder, we have been running a travel company called Funstay since 2015. We have catered to over 4,000 travelers. Out of which 1,200 travelers came through their social connects. I've cited one of the examples here. And this is also in line with the ongoing social trends. If you do a quick search for hashtag travel with me, you'll find over 3.4 million posts on it. There's a rise in gig economy, and the DIY generation wants to do everything by themselves with a little guidance. So where we are and where are we headed? At present, TripShifu is a social commerce platform, which basically enables a person to create a diary of his or her recommendation and then send it across to their social circle. Every time someone gets inspired by their recommendations and take a booking decisions, the Shifu gets rewarded. There are just 4 easy steps. 1 is sign up, 2nd is create profile, 3rd is add your favorites, and 4th is share an hour. How does it work? So every time the Shifu shares its diary in social circle, someone browses it, takes a buying decision. TripShifu's backend operation, that is us, takes care of the entire trip process. We get cross margin paid back from the actual operators, and we pay out a part of it as incentive to Shifu. Where are we headed? So right now, Shifu has to reach out to his or her social network to get connected to the travelers. In the next phase, we want to build a search wherein people can look for Shifus for a particular destination and can get trip planning decoupled from the booking process. For that, we'll make intelligent matchmaking system for traveler and Shifu. There will be consulate support. Multiple other features could be made, which can give revenues to the Shifus on platform. And eventually, we want to grow into a network of a social network of travelers, wherein the platform empowers and enables travelers across the world to communicate, inspire, and create economic opportunities through their passion for travel. I'll just give you an example. So, for example, is trip planning decoupled from booking. So, the traveler might pay just for the advice and not really for the booking part. And the booking part could be kept separate, which a traveler may or may not take, although it will be present in the system, but it's an optional service. So the Shifu gets paid and he can put up a charge for trip planning. The platform takes a platform fees from Shifu, and then it's just a trip planning service that the platform provides. It's just one of the examples.
Sorry. Well done. Congratulations. Thank you. And could you please take down your slide, and we'll invite the judges to come back and start asking their questions. They've got 3.5 minutes to do so. And it looks like, I think Rajiv is ready to ask one. Go ahead and go first.
So I think the biggest competitor Shifu that you're going to have possibly is Google. So how are you looking at differentiating yourself from this big competition?
Right. So I believe even now, if you see, most of the information is actually available on internet. Whenever someone wants to plan a trip, they can actually Google and find most of the information. The problem is people don't really make this effort, and they're looking for someone who can guide them. Right now, it's the travel agent who doesn't really have personal experience or can provide a personally vetted service. We want people who have traveled, use the platform and provide this service, because people do not have time and energy to do this search by themselves. Google provides search, yes, but people do not really search by themselves. That's the problem.
And how are you looking at monetizing? Nobody pays for advisory.
That is true. That's why the current model is social commerce, wherein we are just creating a diary for Shifus, wherein recommendation happens and we are earning from commissions from operators and giving a part of it back to Shifu. Eventually, once the Shifu's profile becomes more active and it has more reviews, and he can start charging for travel advice and multiple other things. They can start, they can create a trip which is led by them and can charge additionally for that. So there are multiple ways in which a Shifu can provide a service which could be monetized. And in that case, the platform will charge the platform fees cut from Shifu's charges.
Sure.
Hi, Mahim. Could you clarify then, if I'm an influencer, I log on as a member, create my trip, and if people subscribe to that, how do I make money? Do I make anything?
Right. So if you created a profile on TripShifu and you share your diary and profile with someone else in your circle, and based on your inputs and recommendations, if they make a booking decision, so all these recommendations are bookable on our platform. If they make a booking decision, then you get a part of overall booking revenue as an incentive back. It is a hard
Like
cash
a
incentive,
referral fee.
kind of. And in future, we also want to reward engagement, which is even without a booking action. If someone likes or shares, we plan to introduce a crypto token called Shifu, which will be a reward token, which is not a cash reward, but it is more a crypto reward, which can be used for engagement rewarding.
Okay.
If there are no follow-up questions, how many Shifus are live on your platform today?
So right now it's 807 Shifus to be precise. We have got 52 inquiries through their diaries, out of which 19 got confirmed, and Shifus have earned a total of 41,200 incentives so far. We have been only in a limited release. We have not really marketed the platform yet. We started with a limited release last February, and we are reaching out slowly in a very targeted manner we have created a database of Instagram profiles who have been looking for monetizing their travel experience and knowledge and reaching out and getting them onboarded as Shifu. And to our past travelers who have been sending us query as referrals, we are taking them on Shifus, and these are all through them.
What's your estimate in terms of the money a Shifu would earn through your platform?
So just to give you a simple example, which I had used here, one person sending 10 people to Maldives, a typical Maldives package is 2 lakh, that is 10 lakh, and consider 15% margin, 5% of it. So that is just one example which I had given over here. In a year, if someone can get 20.
Thank you. Thank you, Mahim. We have to wrap up with the questions. Just keep it fair. Thank you very much. All right, next up we have Dharmendra Ladi from Verbotech. He's a CEO and co-founder. Ladi, would you please pull up your presentation and bring it live on the screen and double check that mute button, make sure that you're audible to everyone. And as soon as you're ready, we will we'll start the 5-minute countdown for your presentation.
Okay, yeah, thanks. So I just started sharing.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, sure. Okay, so very pleasant good afternoon to everyone, and thanks for this opportunity. So we as Verbotech started in Pune, India in mid-2019 with the vision of organizing and establishing a global standard for world accommodation data for every travel business. So the problem we are solving is with the hotel content and mappings for travel businesses. Typically, any travel business aggregates the hotel static content from multiple sources, and that results into duplicate hotel and room listing on travel websites. Also, the correctness of the static content in terms of star rating, geocodes, property type, hotel chains, brands, or city location mapping with the hotels. So all that content quality is also a big problem for travel websites. So, and because of the hotels aggregation works in traditional ecosystem with multiple content sources, the static hotel content can go out of sync easily for most of these travel systems or booking engines. So we have solved all these problems. The hotel mapping machine learning models, which we have, they take into account more than 100 hotel data attributes in decision-making process. It also connects with a lot of geolocation services to accurately identify the accommodation location or the hotel location. It uses a lot of averaging models to correctly identify the accurate hotel data attributes. These models are trained on the trained data sets, which are very diversified based on the geographies, type of accommodation, the data variation in specific content source. So the room mapping problem or the room content downloaded from multiple sources get standardized, reconciled, categorized into the standardized room groups, and then sent back to the customers. The rooms data from these integrated suppliers on our platform go through a natural language processing pipelines to tokenize into qualified data fields, and then pass to machine learning models to group them very accurately. All this happens through a real-time API integration with our customers. So in a nutshell, any travel business can solve any type of problem with the set of products that we have built in this hotel content aggregation and distribution platform. So the business model for us is pretty straightforward. We work with most of our clients are OTAs. As I said, they connect with multiple suppliers, so they need this mapping solutions for hotels and rooms. We work with suppliers, wholesalers, bed banks, TMCs. We also work with strategically with suppliers and hotel chains to enrich their curated content. Travel data audit companies are also one of the major area of our customer base. Our pricing is public on website, which is not done by any of our competitor, but we are very transparent in terms of pricing that we want to put in. It's a yearly subscription. We get the money at the start of the subscription, and the timing for this solution is very accurate because there is no other solution exists which operate at the scale of our accuracy, coverage, transparency, or the quality of the customer success that we have. In terms of product roadmap, we have very strong vision in terms of how we want to solve this problem further. We want to improve the hotel mapping and room mappings, accuracy, the coverage. We also have content services which are very curated to specific customers. So we have around products coming up for in that area as well. We want to make this content publicly available for all our customers, but that is something that is way in the future. So we are completely bootstrapped, no funding done so far. We are completely profitable, and it's a B2B SaaS product. So we have seen 400% growth in the pandemic in 2021 in 1 year. Talking about market size, we have around 50,000 travel businesses across the globe which need this solution to be solved, or this problem to be solved very effectively. So we are working with more than 400 suppliers. We have more than 150 integrations with these suppliers. So talking about branding and growth strategy, we are heavily focused on digital advertisement. We are focused on exhibitions, travel events. We want to work with a lot of travel tech companies or software houses strategically to collaborate and get access to our mutual clients. We also have region-specific, sales, and started creating these teams which are very focused for marketing and sales based on regions. Competition, GITA is one of the competition that we have. Content, there is no established players, but RateGain is something who actually launched the one product on content in this year in this content space. So right now we have 120 plus paying customers. Most of them are on annual paying subscription. We have teams as a 24 as a company. We are already big logos from North America, Middle East, Europe, India, and
Australia. We're at time. You're just a bit over. So thank you very much for your presentation. We're going to open up the question and answer period, which is 3.5 minutes. If you wouldn't mind taking your slides down so the next presenter can get theirs up, that would be appreciated. Sure. And I'll open the floor to the judges.
Hey, Ladi, good stuff. I think bootstrapped. Congratulations for all the success that you've had. Kudos to you and your team.
Thanks, Raja.
How many customers do you acquire on a monthly basis, considering the fact that it's a problem every single OTA has, right? What's your number that you're acquiring on a month-to-month basis?
Yeah, so in this month, in month of May, we have acquired 11 customers. In month of April, we acquired around 7 to 8 companies. Like it's a mix of OTAs plus suppliers or any content sources. So on an average, we are, acquiring 10 to 15 customers per month.
And what's the average SaaS fee that you earn from these customers on a monthly basis?
So we are running at 12,000 USD ARR for customers per ticket per year.
Okay.
All right, thanks for your presentation. I don't think it's the first time I've seen a presentation from Vervotech. So I wanted to know, what are the biggest challenges that you faced in the last 3 months? Is it just selling to more users, selling more licenses, or is it on the technical side?
Yeah, selling more is I would say not a big problem, because we have customers selling for ourselves now. So and it's the challenge are on technology side, and also on the content problem that you're solving. You know, getting access to a lot of content creators. Like, we have system which hoteliers can create the content, but making that system available to hoteliers or to hotel chains, or all the distribution or aggregation ecosystem is one business challenge that we see. But yeah, so the solution to that is we started working with small companies which are actually creating this content for specific chains, and then get it curated and created. Yeah.
Thanks for that.
And of course, the global challenge of technology talent, I guess it's for everyone. It's for everyone. Yeah.
Which is your biggest market in terms of live customers?
It's North America. So probably more than 60% revenue is from North America. On very high level, and this is just numbers.
How big a market is that in terms of your total accessible market? Number of agencies that you said about. What are the number? I thought there was a 500,000 number in your slide.
50,000. Yeah, 50,000.
50,000.
All over the globe. Yeah.
So how big a number does North America represent in that 50,000?
Definitely more than 10,000 travel businesses.
So that's one of your key markets. You're going to continue focusing on North America.
Yes. And of course, Middle East, India, and UK, Europe are also very important for us, for the group. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Lottie. Thank you to our judges. This is the wrapping section for India. Thanks very much for your presentations and for the judges who put the time in. We had a great session. We've looked at personalization and intelligent multi-city itinerary customization from Darwin Travel Tech, integrated travel management and AI recommendation system from GetOut, social commerce platform designed to replace travel agents and trip planning from TripShifu, and hotel content aggregation and distribution solution from Vervotech. Lots of interesting things to consider there. And we're delighted to have had all of your presentations. Thank you to the participants, and thank you again to the judges, Francesca, Gaurav, and Rajiv, for your time and energy in helping us to sift through these fantastic submissions. All right, so this concludes the India section of our conversation today of the competition. We're moving on to Middle East and Africa, which is the penultimate section. We'll also do a wrap up and an awards section at the end. So Middle East and Africa, we're welcoming our judges from that region who are helping us out to vet some of these presentations. Rani Varghese from Sira Group. Welcome, Rani. Next up, we have Mona Faraj, Managing Director from Insight Out Consultancy. Welcome, Mona. Paulina Klotzbuscher, who's joining us from Travel Start. Thanks for coming. And Sanjay Sharma, the head of IT for Jumeirah Group. Great collection of judges for this section, and we're delighted that we're able to kick it off today with Stephanie Schatzschabel from Welcome to the World. We'd like to welcome you to our world, Stephanie. If you could bring your slides up and get your audio open so that we can hear you. We will start the clock at 5 minutes. Once you've completed, we'll give you 3.5 minutes for Q&A. So let us know when you're ready to roll, and we'll get the countdown timer going. You should be able to see it up on the screen. Stephanie, are you there? We can't hear you. I don't know if you're live. I can see your slides.
Yes, can you hear me, Kimberly? Can you hear me, judges?
I can. Fantastic. All right.
Fantastic. So it was a month ago that I was approached by one of the biggest hospitality hotshots in the industry. And basically he asked me, Stephanie, like in my first year of one of the biggest hotels here in Dubai, like I was so frustrated that I had to pay 6 million euros to booking.com. And I sat down with him. For 13 years, he was unable to find a solution until he met us. My name is Stephanie Schafschabel, and I'm the founder of Welcome to the World. Now, I don't have to explain to you that COVID has a tremendous impact in the travel and tourism industry. And we believe if there's unprecedented impact in the tourism industry, we also should come with unprecedented solutions, right? So, in March 2020, I gathered a group of industry experts all together, and we sat down and we researched the industry and we asked people, what if you could change a problem pre-COVID, post-COVID, what problem would you find a solution to? And on top of their list, it was the high commissions that are being paid to OTAs like on a global scale. The fact that they have 9 billion to spend on digital marketing, and that during COVID, the traveler is really keen to book directly, and they are unaware of the direct booking benefits, and no easy platform exists. So that's where Welcome to the World kicks in. The YouTube for tourism, the world's first video sharing platform where tourism stakeholders can upload their video content for free and receive commission-free bookings. It's the one-stop shop for travelers to find travel inspiration about 170 destinations and where they get rewarded for booking directly. Now, our concept is built on 4 pillars. It's collaboration, mobilizing stakeholders to work together to promote direct bookings using video content, uploading on a platform, receive commission-free bookings, and the traveler is getting rewarded for it. Our product is simple. It's browse, book, benefit. And in the meantime, we're building the largest database of video content all over the world. Booking directly is the key. And our business model is also very simple. We have a business to business and a business to consumer. Our licensees on a global scale, we work with local partners in each and every destinations. They onboard locally the business members. It's a membership driven model. Now, for the travelers, they sell and sign up, and they will get rewarded by paying us a fixed fee per year. And obviously in the beginning, this is all for free. Now, our traction and our global market, like obviously there's a big market within the digital marketing, 333 billion, 36, which is 10%, goes to the travel industry. We are scaling to 48 destinations on a global scale with our licensee, covering 80% of all tourism arrivals. So how does our revenue model work? Yeah, we have the 48 licensees all over the world that basically onboard the business memberships. They pay us a royalty of 25%, and that's how revenue is going to Welcome to the World. And then obviously the travel memberships, it's a direct like $25 that they pay for unlocking welcoming benefits all over the world in hotels, restaurants, activities, and anywhere they travel to. So what is our traction? We currently have like onboarded 5 licensees. It's the UAE, the Netherlands, Qatar, Thailand, Mexico, and we're onboarding destinations each and every month. We have paying customers from the biggest chains in the world, and we are a platform for the industry, by the industry. Now, traction in terms of travelers, we have 186,000 users on a monthly basis, and 8% is basically clicking on Book Direct. So if you look at our competition, we look at actionable video inspiration as well as commissions, right? You see that all of our competitors, they swim in the same ocean. Like Welcome to the World is really starting when it's most needed and swimming into a blue ocean. So we have raised $264,000 till date, like which we built the platform, raised like the users, have the active licensee holders, and we're currently on the verge of opening also our travel membership in the destinations that we are active. Now, my secret weapon is my team. Obviously, my background is in destination marketing, and I've been an entrepreneur all of my life, but I have a brilliant CIO and a brilliant CTO who are building this platform with a unique user experience. And I'm onboarding the knowledge from people from tourism authorities as well as big OTAs. Our advisors have skin in the game and also invest with us in the company, which is very important. The last investor and advisor I have on board was the Minister of Finance from the Netherlands, and we're currently raising 2.2 million.
Stephanie, I'm afraid we're going to have to cut you off. It sounds fantastic, but we do need to move on to the question and answer period. Thank you very much for your presentation. If you wouldn't mind taking down your slides, please, so we can get the next presentation loaded. Hello, Paulina. Hello, Mona. How are you? Thanks for being there. Ronnie's there too. Please go ahead and start your questions. As soon as you do, we'll start the clock for 3.5 minutes.
So I'm assuming I'm starting. Great presentation, and I think we would all love to decrease our acquisition costs. I'm just wondering, what is your approach in that? It looked like you are getting a lot of traffic, but what are the channels of that traffic? How are you going to manage your acquisition costs?
Well, how we work nowadays is like we have a licensee model. So in each and every destination, we work with local partners. They mobilize the local stakeholders. So for instance, here in Dubai, we work together with the tourism authorities, Dubai Tourism, Emirates Airlines, the key hospitalities, and together we drive traffic towards the platform. So it's not only the acquisition cost that we have as a company, it's a joint initiative by the key tourism stakeholders to drive traffic to the platform. Then obviously we make use of digital advertising, digital marketing. We combine all the marketing budgets of all the stakeholders, and then we can at least, make a fist against the big lions out there.
Hi, love the concept, by the way. Definitely love the concept. How do hotels manage their content? Do you connect to the brand's own CMS, or do they need to upload and manage their content on your portals? I mean, how does the content management goes?
Yes, well, it works like YouTube. So people upload their content on our platform. Like we have a backend, and we developed an entire system where we curate the content, making sure that the content is uploaded on the platform. And then in each and every destination, we revitalize the video content. So we use the content that is already out there to make like top 5 hotels, top 5 restaurants, top 5 activities to go to in a destination. Because in general, the content of the stakeholders are not the most inspirational content. So we make sure that we combine this content together and make sure that it's curated from our side.
So you do not connect to a hotel's main CMS?
No, we don't. Well, in terms of availability and pricing, yes, but not in
direct. That's direct. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for an interesting question, Mona.
Hi, Stephanie. Great presentation and really interesting proposition. So similar to the last question that was asked around content, I can see how you can effectively, let's say, onboard licensees and partners within certain regions, but how do you scale this in terms of ensuring quality of content, generation of content, and also the technology that you need to have in place in order to scale this effectively? Because it's kind of like to attract eyeballs, you need all that content and it has to be high quality.
Yes. Well, it's the content that makes the difference, and we work with the licensee model. So in each and every destination, you have local partners that like basically oversee the content delivery, right? So it's an uploading platform. So people upload the content themselves, and we are curating it per destination. So that is how we basically make sure that the content is created all over the world. Your second question was, sorry?
Just from a technology perspective, do you know that you can scale this? Because content is very rigorous, yeah.
Yeah. We're scaling it like we're making use now of different technologies, APIs that we integrate within the platform. In terms of video content, it's now with APIs to YouTube. So we can easily scale it to 48 destinations. once we are having skill, we are currently also building the platform ourselves to make sure that we can handle that.
Thank you, Stephanie, and thank you, judges. We are out of time for a Q&A. And moving on to the next presenter. Thanks for your presentation, Stephanie.
Thank you, Kimberly.
All right, Tiffany Anderson, founder of WiT Africa. Tiffany, welcome to the stage. Please bring up your presentation. And when you're ready, let us know, and we'll start the clock for your 5 minutes.
I am ready to begin.
All right, looks great. Thanks.
So hello, everyone, and happy Africa Day. My name is Tiffany Anderson. I am the CEO and founder of WiT Africa, which is a destination management company. And I'm here to walk you through the presentation of DXO-driven travel, the power of partnering with community. So just a little bit about myself. I am by, I guess you can say by trade practice, I am an attorney and a professor. And it was during a study abroad program in South Africa in the summer of 2006 where I fell in love with the continent. And I can vividly remember standing on the balcony in Cape Town with Table Mountain in the background, and I was crying profusely, like uncontrollably, because it was time for me to depart the continent. And I formed such a bond and connection, not only with Africa or South Africa, but with the people of the continent and the culture of South Africa. So when I left South Africa, I did what everyone else would do. I put my passion to the side and I practiced law for over a decade, and I taught as well. And then I decided to form a team of 5 young ladies who all had connectivity and a passion to the continent as well. And we began expanding on the business idea of WiT Africa. So I can say that this is a passion project, and I personally traveled to 17 countries on the continent. And so we started building out business models for 15 of these countries and started servicing 15 of these countries. And so we personally ourselves were meeting with SME owners, meeting with tour operators, going to the experiences. I'm sleeping in the beds of the hotels. So we're able to provide a truthful and honest experience for travelers looking to travel throughout the continent. So we're expanding. We're in South Africa, Ethiopia, Kenya, Eswatini, Egypt, Morocco, Senegal, Ghana, Benin, Togo. And then guess what? After 2019, we had COVID. So in 2020, as everyone on this panel and everyone here knows that the tourism industry was hit the most, or we can say we had the most job loss throughout the world. And so as the borders begin to reopen, we saw not only the problem of job loss in the travel industry, but also the quality SME and the quality tour operators. They pivoted and they left the tour industry because they had to get paid. So as the borders are reopening, we're starting to see a demand for more meaningful travel, but then we're not having the SMEs that we were previously working with because they left the industry. So our solution to this problem is we started pivoting to a DXO model. So what's a DXO model? We mentioned earlier that, or I mentioned that we're a destination management company and we have some of the essential qualities of a destination marketing organization. But with the DXO, the X is our X factor. The X is a more direct way for us to create, maintain, and perfect a range of local products that can sustain industry vitality through educating and job creation. X is basically the absolute adaptivity, the connection to the people, the connectivity to the culture, and doing whatever needs to get done through the partnerships with the community. The X enables us to do this. So because of this DXO model, we're able to use the big data, which is collected through our previous travelers, for those who are interested in traveling, from our social media, and also from us being on the ground. And we're able to provide evidence-based itineraries, providing unique experience to those travelers who are looking for more meaningful travel. And just looking at our business model and projections, how do we make our money? So on average, we have maybe 1 to 2 annual tours per month. So it's on average about 24, 25 annual tours, but then we also have luxury travels as well. So looking at the annual tours, we target millennials who spend on average $5,000 to $8,000 on experiences, and our tours range from $2,500 to $6,000 per person. We're able to see a profit margin of 25 to 30% per traveler, and because we're on the ground, we're able to scale when we're able to sell out the tours, but also we cut out the middleman. So that means the redistribution of tourism dollars is going directly into the pockets of those in the community who matter most. We are entering into our first phase of collecting or raising funds, and this is a breakdown of our ask. And with us concluding, I just want to know, are you ready to go away to Africa?
Thanks very much, Tiffany. I'm definitely ready to go. All right. Judges, please bring your videos up if you're not, and let's kick off with some questions for Tiffany. We have 3.5 minutes.
Great, I'll start. I see that you've targeted, so firstly, kudos, love Africa as well. And, you know, calling in from happy, not so sunny Cape Town today. But I do want to ask you, like, you're targeting so many different countries simultaneously with a pretty small team. What made you go with that approach rather than maybe instead of having it like away to Africa, maybe first with South Africa and then expanding into like West Africa, et cetera, rather than just targeting the blanket continent with so fragmented and limited content in each market initially?
So that's a great question. So initially we did start in South Africa and we started with 3 countries, but seeing that the market was pretty much an open market regarding cultural experiences, we started having demands for other countries. And so it was like, okay, we're limited to these countries, but as time progressed, I started traveling more. I started partnering with tourism or authorities and tourism boards who were able to support me with expansion. Now we're looking to onboard a COO, and we are focusing on the quality. So for each country, we're building that business model, how to go more in depth with the type of experiences, with the marketing, with the job creation. And we're sitting still for some time with the countries that we are offering so we can focus on the quality per country. But it really was the demand that led us to expand at such a, you know, a rate in that sense, in that rate.
It's a question. So how do you distribute and promote your Africa content to the global traveler?
So primarily through social media. So we have a pretty decent following. Even like Instagram, we have 100,000 followers. Well, about 98, but it's all organic growth. We have a YouTube channel. We have Facebook. We do lives. We also have a newsletter. Doing interviews with different organizations, but I will say marketing, that's one place that we need to, and I think when we focus more on the quality, marketing is really one of the areas of growth that we're in need of. So we have we're onboarding a COO, and within the ask, we have money set aside for a CMO to join on board as well, so we can focus on the global marketing strategies.
Thank you.
Definitely a great presentation. Just I want to ask a little bit, you kind of stressed on the DXO and the X, which is the X factor, the thing that differentiates you. Do you think you can just expand on that a little bit in terms of the specifics of what that is?
So DXO model is actually something that was introduced through WTM. It was this year, and Cape Town Tourism actually started expanding on it. So when you have the X factor, it really is a subjective point of view, but it really is about the connectivity to the community. So when you have connectivity to the community, and the reason why they mention this because we started looking at when COVID hit, how many jobs were lost, and how can we look at job creating, but how can we protect the tourism industry? So with this X factor, it's about educating different tourist operators. So say for instance, if COVID hits again, instead of trying to find a new way to promote domestic tourism, we already have those tour operators in place. So the X is really the connectivity to the community.
And that's a great place to end. Thanks so much, Tiffany. A good presentation and well-timed. Thanks very much. All right, moving on to our next presenter, Mohit Gupta, co-founder and CMO of Equity Address. Mohit, welcome to the stage. Please let us know when you've got your slides all loaded and ready to go, and we will put 5 minutes on the clock and get you rolling. In fact, I'm not sure that Mohit is here. So we're going to move on to the next presenter, which is Nick Schooling. I'll give Nick a little bit of time to prepare himself because he might not quite be there yet. That sometimes this happens with startups and investor calls and all sorts of exciting things that happen in the startup and innovation world. So Nick, welcome to the stage. Sorry for the skip, but I like that you're prepared.
No worries at all.
You saved me from talking a lot.
No problem.
All right. Okay, we'll put 5 minutes on the clock for you and take a deep breath and go.
Wonderful. Yeah, so in 2019, I was backpacking to Indonesia with my girlfriend, and we spent the last about few days in the beautiful tropical jungle town of Ubud, Bali. Before we arrived, we had seen countless photos on social media posts about these tropical jungle waterfalls. But then when we were actually in destination, looking online, trying to find where to go, we were just completely overwhelmed. So much so that we'd spent 2 hours of our last day scrolling through blogs, social media accounts, recommendation platforms, trying to find these places. We eventually gave up and headed down to our local bar. And after one or maybe several beers, I worked up the courage to ask the bartender, where do we go? He proceeded to draw out a map on a napkin. So there we were in the middle of peak traffic on the back of a scooter using a napkin map to try and find this elusive waterfall. Somehow we got to the place and it was a paradise. We had it all to ourselves. For me, this was a light bulb moment. How lucky are we that we spoke to the right local, that we didn't get lost or die in the process of trying to get there. And I wish there was a way that we could reconnect with that local after the fact, because he really did make this trip for us. My name is Nick Schooling and I'm the founder of Local Knowledge Travel. So the next generation of travel has really grown in relevance, not just due to its increased size, but due to the fact that we identify travel as an essential rite of passage. We prioritize experiences over material possessions, and our online persona is a form of social currency. But as a millennial traveler myself, I know that the mass tourism model does not appeal to the next gen. We've grown up with the internet, so we feel confident and comfortable researching, booking, even executing our travel plans ourselves. But due to paid promotions, it's become increasingly difficult and even time-consuming to access really authentic online recommendations. These recommendation platforms that exist lack personalization, consolidation, and real-time elements. And travelers value community and connection, but can often feel very isolated when they arrive in a new destination. Cape Town, my home city, has a SAM of over 1.5 million millennial travelers recorded in 2019. Now let's compare this to the $350 billion per annum that is spent by millennial travelers. We can see that Cape Town is an emerging destination, as well as a very awesome opportunity in other developing destinations around the world. Our product is going to change the way the next gen travels. So let me tell you how. This is Jada, a 27-year-old digital nomad from California. And this is Savannah, a 24-year-old food blogger from Cape Town. We've developed a personalized, authentic, peer-to-peer recommendation platform that is connecting millennial, Gen Z, and digital nomad travelers like Jada to the best secret spot recommendations and real-time events provided by like-minded locals like Savannah. Our mobile app is consolidating recommendations from local influencers to give Jada a real-time map of the city. Our personalization and trending algorithm is ranking content based on Jada's passions and what is happening in the city at any given moment. Jada is then given an opportunity to connect to other like-minded users so they can get together and go and execute these awesome once-in-a-lifetime experiences together. She may be traveling solo, but with our platform, she'll never be alone. Locals like Savannah not only benefit from the social affirmation of gaining followers and building communities, but are also able to earn a passive income for providing their local knowledge. So instead of leaving a like for content you enjoy, users are encouraged to tip the contributors for providing their local knowledge. Future revenue models include a commission on the sale of our experiences, events, and accommodation, and an authentic advertising model, which is connecting local brands to the desired audiences through sponsoring specific information and locals. So we got proof of concept through our tour operating company to test the concept, hosting over 3,000 guests in the first 9 months of operating, COVID gave us the opportunity to develop a digital solution that has less barriers to scale. So we launched our MVP at the start of the year, onboarding the top local influencers. In our soft launch, we acquired 1,000 active users in under 48 hours with literally zero marketing budget and purely through word of mouth. So our hooks are definitely based on creating strong network effects through incentivizing these influencers to promote their local knowledge in other channels. Our platform aims to replace likes with tips, hearts with dollar signs. We're now looking to raise a seed round of $300K USD to achieve our short-term goal of populating 50 international cities with 200,000 active users in under 2 years. So who are we? We are a team of millennial travelers and travel experts designing a technical solution for our generation's travel needs. But our expertise definitely extends beyond our core members. By utilizing UGC, our platform leverages the diverse IP of the best creators from around the world. So to conclude, local knowledge is not just an app or platform, it's our lifestyle. It's the next generation's commitment to living with purpose, infectious passion, and curiosity. It's education that enhances our empathy and our understanding and our acceptance of others through exposure. And it's a sense of belonging wherever you are in the world, all the while having a positive impact on local communities by providing locals with a source of passive income and by redirecting traffic from hotspots to the countless other small businesses that make up the heart and soul of the city.
Time's up, Nick. Thanks very much. Fantastic. And thanks for jumping in.
No
Nick, you have to promise me that you will answer in a simpler accent, because South African and Assyrian, I'm finding it difficult. Paulina would do better there. Love your concept and love the app, by the way. The simplicity of it is amazing. But question to you, I couldn't understand, what's your financial model exactly?
Sure. So we're starting off with a freemium revenue model to reduce barriers to entry for our customers. We're working on a tip basis to incentivize the early adopters for coming in. The next stage of our revenue model, once we move towards critical mass, is focusing on API integration with other experience, accommodation, and events being a very important element of what we're building, to add a commission element to what we're doing, as well as an authentic advertising model where we're opening up our platform via a third-party dashboard for the right brands to associate their brands and their products with the right locals, influencers, and information, selling trail running shoes to trail running locations. To trail runners via those locations.
So how do you manage your content, and where do you acquire it from?
Sure. That's our only barrier to entry, is that we have really strict quality controls. Each city we employ a local rep who's the person to vet information based on our quality standards of sustainability, ethical, authentic, and safe. And so the contribution is coming from locals, from travel experts like concierges, agents, as well as guides and influencers being the fifth one.
And who does the quality control and the content control from a?
That's just one of our team members. Additionally, that person comes with a copywriter to help just craft the stuff. And then third is a social media content creator per city, but that is not an essential. It is all focused on UGC.
Nick, question. So the thing is, because you're going to be spending initially to acquire, and you're also spending to pay the influencers for, I saw you're paying on a cost per click for referrals to different experiences. Some of those experiences are free, like climbing Lion's Head, so you can't monetize those, or going to a great beach, especially those that kind of millennials like, I assume. So how are you planning to monetize those that don't book, or book things that are free? And also, what if they use you as a content consumption platform, but they're not a booking platform? What is your contingency plan in that event?
Absolutely. So for the free content, we are working on the tip revenue model, which is based on the success of like Patreon or virtual trips, just as the initial one to monetize the free content. From the API integration, that's like the next level up. We're giving the locals or the influencers that are promoting that a portion of that commission. And then lastly, through the free content, again, the authentic advertising money that's coming in from brands to sponsor posts or sponsor locals, that money is going towards the local, the creator, and we're taking a portion of that as part of our revenue model.
Question for, how do you compete with platforms like Instagram or TikTok, where there's a ton of great content like this and influencer on there? Like, why would influencers come here instead of just producing where there's already a ton of people, eyeballs on it?
Absolutely. So what we're finding the gap is between the authenticity of content as well as the incentive for contributor to get paid at the end of the day. Like I said, we're trying to create a platform where instead of starting off to get likes, to get followers, to one day monetize once you reach a threshold, you can monetize your content immediately. Additionally, we're starting to look at different strategies around getting embedded content. So you create once on Instagram or TikTok and pull it over to our platform.
Sorry, that's the end of the time that we have allowed for questions and answers. Thanks so much, Nick. We appreciate your presentation and your flexibility. Up next is Zafrir Blunder, the CEO of Upstay. Zafrir, if you could pull up your presentation, you'll have 5 minutes to tell us all about Upstay and what you're up to.
Sure. Do you need to see me as well?
Ideally, yes.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, it's happening now. Great. Cool. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me today. I'm Zafrir. I'm the CEO and one of the founders of Upstay. And we are using data science and deep automation to help hotels make extra profits. Now, as we all know, the hospitality industry is now in the verge of a deep and very accelerated digital transformation and adopting new technologies, new solutions. But still, 90% of the hotels are not using any systematic or measurable manners to sell more ancillary products, to generate ancillary revenue, while 60% of the guests are clearly interested in buying, adding more items, upgrades, upsells, cross-sells to their original or initial booking. Now, it leaves the hotels with some very, very clear challenges, as they were, historically speaking, very focused on putting heads on beds. The distribution, the war in distribution, fighting the competitors, embedding RMSs, the OTAs, et cetera, everything was about the distribution, but we have a clear opportunity to generate more profits, what we're doing post-distribution. So hotels have unsold premium inventory. They have overbooked standard categories. They have underutilized facilities and services. And all the while, they are dealing in parallel with a shortage in labor. Now, Upstay is helping hotels generate new ancillary revenue and much more than before, and doing so on automated autopilot, fully automated. And I like to compare it to RMS because I think it's very similar in my opinion. Basically, what RMSs did for the hospitality industry, allowing prices to be changed dynamically, allowing decisions to be made according to historical performances. This is what Upstay is doing for the post-booking process. And I will explain later on how we do it. A little bit about our company. So we founded the company in 2019, very good timing, just before COVID hit. And to date, we're serving hundreds of hotels. We have offices or representatives in Tel Aviv, where our headquarters are, and the R&D team, Athens, Cancun, Sao Paulo, Milano, and you can see some of the nice brands we're working with. And what are we doing for them? So basically we're generating on average 30% increase in the guest spend at the hotel. And overall, if you consider the conversion rates, we are generating an increase of 5% in the revenue per available guest. So how we do it? Basically, we're using predictive models to analyze the hotel's operational in real time. What is the status of the inventory in different categories? How many of the guests have booked the all-inclusive or the dinner or the breakfast or any other facilities in the hotel? And we analyze it, and the system, the algorithms decide what is the best plan, most effective plan to generate the matching demand from the guest's side and to sell these underperforming assets of the hotels. And we do it by using, of course, data science, by presenting to the guests very, very effective, unique value proposition offers, And as I said, dynamic pricing is a very important key to what we do. It sums up to this. We are able to convert up to 20% of the guests to buy additional room upgrades, plan extensions, et cetera, to add another day to their stay, late checkouts, everything you can think of, depending on the hotel's needs. And by so to really boost the hotels, our hotels' profits. Here are some examples of the clients that we work for and we serve and what we do for them. So this is one of our first customers, the Fatal Group in Israel. We started here, of course, 30 hotels. You can see the numbers. Was very successful. So we deployed the system in the entire chain, 227 hotels. Then we have some our early adopters in North America, the Lucerne, the Wallace, which we are also expanding our solution within this chain. It's the Empire Hospitality Group. In Mykonos, very nice hotels in Mykonos, very expensive. And so they also enjoy our solution and generating extra profits, ancillary revenue. You can see that the averages here are really high because, again, expensive hotels. In order to do that, of course, we need very deep integrations with the PMSs, the CRSs. So here is what we have. We are developing more and more, and we even drive them to develop, to make their API more sophisticated. Our business model is risk-free for the hotels. This is a part of our aggressive approach to the market. Basically, no strings attached. They pay only for what we deliver for them in a revenue share model. And to summarize, Upstay boosts hotels' profits. It does so fully automated. It uses data to do it much more effectively than other solutions. And so you get smart.
And we're out of time, I'm afraid. Zafir, thanks so much for your presentation.
Zafir, I'm going to jump here. By ancillary, you mean also non-room revenues, right? Because it wasn't very clear in your presentation and your website.
That's right. Okay, so look, our core product is around room upgrades, because to start a discussion with the hotel, you need to discuss what Upstay can do for you, where it's very difficult for you to do where you have the guests, so pre-arrival. So you must sell those room upgrades pre-arrival, because after you balance the house, it's too late. And to start negotiating with the hotel, the reception is sometimes tricky. So around room upgrades, but then we go further to other ancillaries inside the hotel.
So what sets you apart from the three other main players in the upsell world? Specifically Oki, because you're app-driven.
There are other very nice companies, but yes, I think that Oki is a great company, but I think they missed to differentiate between different hotels, to take into consideration the real-time situation of a hotel and to make it measurable, to understand that an item will generate more if it is presented differently, different price. Also, I didn't mention, but of course, we're using our bidding, unique bidding and fully automated bidding process to allow guests to express their subjective value to the upgrade. And then this is one of the ways we can generate the demand that we need to match the real-time supply the hotel wants to sell.
Zafir, would you kindly take your presentation down? We need to load the next one up, and we can't do that while yours is up. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Carry on. Thank you.
Hi, Zafir. Just a question for you. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
So you described that your AI technology that actually does the recommendation, but how do you actually reach the guest? Like, what's the channel or the touch point? That's my first question. I'll follow up with the second one after so how do you reach the customer?
So mainly emails, then text messages in different geographies that this is relevant, and of course WhatsApp and other messaging systems. Again, pre-arrival, during stay, you use different communication channels for different touch points.
Okay, so my second question related to that is, for example, your conversion rate that you showed there of about 8% or 11%, is that a conversion on all of the messages that are sent, or is that conversion based on opened messages?
No, on all the messages that are being shot from the system. Great
okay,
question.
So whether they open or not, you convert about 8% to 11% of the sent.
That's correct. Okay. That's correct.
Perfect.
Yes. It's high, I know. Yeah. That's the result of being targeted.
What's your scaling roadmap? What's your how are you going to scale outside of your immediate market now?
First, to raise more money. Then we are constantly increasing the team, but we're selling it very, very directly. Salespeople, of course, we have channels, we have partners, we have everything, but eventually salespeople, they have the experience, the network within the geographies, and just trying to attract bigger players and to move on.
And when you say Opera, it includes Oxy interface.
Yes, of course.
Okay, that's the end of the time we have for questions. Thanks very much to all of the judges. And thanks to Safir. This will conclude the Middle East and Africa section of our competition today. Thank you again to the judges. We've had a video inspiration platform for sharing content and commission-free direct hotel bookings. We have had a connectivity to travelers directly to cultural experiences in Africa. We've heard about connecting with local communities for ethical, authentic, and safe enhanced experiences, and also how to unlock hidden profits for hospitality companies. So quite a diverse group for Middle East and Africa, and we'll be looking forward to the judges submitting their scores for all of these wonderful participants. Thanks again, everyone, for participating in the Middle East. Now, I'm sure that a lot of you out there are thinking, why didn't I think of that? I wonder which ones really got your wheels turning, and we're here today to talk that through. Pete's going to open a conversation with Laura Holdsworth and Ronnie to discuss some of the innovations and trends that we're seeing. So without further ado, Pete, take over and I'll be back to help you announce the winners.
Yes, well done, Kimberly. That was quite a string of startups. So Laura, Ronnie, are you guys okay?
Yes.
Perfect.
There was a lot of exciting things.
Yeah, it was. It's always good to kind of see a whole bunch of stuff and look and kind of, see what's out there. So before we kind of dig into the different companies that we saw today, I wanted to ask you both, as you're looking at startups or even products, what's the first thing that you generally look for? Is it the founder? Is it the product? Or is it the problem that they're trying to solve? So maybe how do you rank them? And Ronnie, let's start off with you.
Sure. One of the first of all, it was amazing to see all of the pitches and the effort that each of the startups put in. I mean, it was pretty spectacular. Kudos to every single one of them, and kudos to you guys for putting on such a great, event. It's interesting. The resounding theme that came back to me as I was watching most of the pitches is, do the startups actually have a strong understanding of how complex the travel ecosystem is? Because the number of intermediaries, the number of technologies, the number of different players. I think there was one of the startups had a great slide that kind of showed all these connecting points. And actually, for me, the first thing I would look for is a team that has executed something in a very complex environment like that before, and they've got the experience doing it. Because I think that is going to be the sign for whether they're going to succeed in the travel space or not. At least that's for me.
Laura?
Yeah, I think similarly, but I think for me, the biggest thing I would first look at is the problem statement. And a bit to Ronnie's point about the complexity of it, then we understand what the complexity of the problem statement is and who else is already trying to solve it. Because I think the marketplace that you play in is very critical. Obviously, then product, founder becomes very important in terms of experience, but yeah, problem statement in the marketplace that's existing already.
So I think we all would agree that there's still some problems in this marketplace that we need to solve. So today we saw a pretty decent variety from wellness to sustainability. So we definitely touched on that theme. We saw health and security risk management. We saw, of course, digitization of various aspects of the customer journey, as well as kind of removing efficiencies on the B2B tech side. So maybe, what are some of the biggest areas that you both see that the kind of those big problems that we're seeing coming out of this crazy last 2 years? What are some of the biggest problems that you both see in the market?
I think maybe I can start here. I think one of the biggest things, there's an overall trend. I mean, not every one of the pictures we've seen, but certainly a fair amount. It's simplifying what has become incredibly complex. And I think, previously it was lack of information. Now it's a deluge of information and how to simplify it. And a lot of the startups are looking to see, okay, how do we simplify it and make it as easy as possible for the customer? So I think that's interesting based on where we are now. And then the other area is obviously coming out of COVID, or hopefully continuing to move in the right direction, is that, are we solving a problem that has newly arisen? And in some cases, yes. And does that problem still persist in the longer term as things kind of get a little bit more back to normal? And that's something that was kind of in my mind as we were going through.
Yeah, I kind of second Laura's answer there. Going back to my original point, many of the examples, the trend that we saw was really around making it easy for travelers to, for example, find itineraries and find experiences, and sort of providing this connected trip, right? This entire experience of what a traveler wants to do in a particular place and being inspired, and then going through the process of booking all of those items by connecting those things. Now, from the customer perspective, that's absolutely the right problem. I think what is the challenge, though, isn't creating that experience for customers from the, let's say, the user experience perspective, but it's enabling that in the ecosystem, because the number of suppliers you have to go through, the amount of content you need to connect to provide accuracy, to provide real time, to provide, and also multiple languages across the globe, right? So I think there was one of the startups that was providing analytics on travel information. Now, I think it's a phenomenal idea, but the challenge there is that information is changing and coming from so many different sources. One of the key questions is who takes the liability for if that information is incorrect. So I think, there's some really, really interesting, challenging problems, and I think that's why they haven't been solved yet. So, any team that comes up and is able to partner with this ecosystem to solve them is gonna really do something great.
Yeah, I agree. So, and I think you both kind of answered this in different ways, but maybe what's one of those big problems in the market that we didn't see today that you kind of expected as you were coming into today and you saw the list of startups? Was there something that screamed out, I wonder why we're not seeing this type of startup pitch? And it's a tough one, I know, because we saw so much today.
We did see a lot. I don't know that there was
there was one thing that that I noticed as I'm just thinking about this is we didn't see a ton of booking. The transaction is really important, as we know, in this ecosystem. I think, Laura, you can probably speak to this one the most, that the closer you can get to that transaction, maybe the more opportunity to monetize. We didn't see a ton around booking today. So that was something that jumped out to me. Maybe you can both kind of react to that.
I think maybe if I can jump in, the one thing I didn't see was anything truly disruptive. And the reason I say that is because, okay, let's take something like booking flights. There's core systems like the GDS systems that exist today that you have to connect to get all of that content for full service carriers, or you have to direct, there's other intermediaries for low cost carriers. Now the hotel ecosystem is even more complex considering how many suppliers are out there. All of the solutions that we were sort of seeing today were solving problems on top of those older systems. And a lot of the challenges actually come from that ecosystem as it is today. I would have been really amazed to see someone who came in and said, hey, we're going to flip the model completely on its head and actually go right there where the engine is and solve problems there. Because we're trying to solve B2C problems, but those B2C problems actually exist because of the B2B systems that are in place. So if they went there to solve that with a customer in mind, that's where I think the disruption is really going to happen. And also the hardest place to do disruption.
Yeah, I would completely agree. And I think that's why it hasn't happened yet, right? I mean, we talk about the GDS as a legacy system. If you create another connection point that has all the connections, do you just create a new GDS? Like, I think that's the big thing, right? And how does it get disrupted in the simplest form? I mean, legacy systems need updating. That's definitely something we need to think about. But sorry, Pete, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying I was thinking we saw a couple of companies mention Web3 and blockchain, and I think that's maybe one of those technologies that in a certain horizon of time can be a major disruption to intermediary channels, but maybe we're kind of phasing a little bit back away from that. We had some momentum going into blockchain-based distribution systems as we were coming into the pandemic, but now I think there's some real problems that people are trying to solve in the near term, which kind of leads me to my next question around risk and security and kind of some of that sort of technology that obviously is solving a real-time problem today, but how much of that is going to kind of last longer term? Or those companies that are kind of working on kind of solving that today, are they going to have to kind of iterate and evolve their business as they move forward to really address a kind of a long-standing problem?
Yeah, and from my perspective,
either of you can jump in.
Right. Yeah, from my perspective, I would say yes. There's going to have to be iterations along the way. I think that we are solving an immediate problem, and we've seen that happen in the past. Right, when disasters happen, solutions come to fix them. People are very interested in it. Something else comes up, and when people have moved on. And I think that even if I look at hand sanitizers, right? I mean, they were absolutely everywhere. You couldn't go 2 meters without sanitizing your hands. Now, I was just in the US, now you can't see any anywhere. So I think that the startups that are in that space need to be very mindful that there's the problem is not just what's just happened, right? It is how do we look at it for the longer term? So I hope that, yes, they are, but I think that's something you need to think about.
I'd add that there's certain, so COVID did something really interesting, which is there were some pre-existing problems that were there way before COVID happened to travel. And when COVID happened, they really came out to the forefront and exacerbated them, right? For example, when your flights are getting canceled on you, when you're getting rerouted, your room, you can't get to your destination. You need to figure out whether you need a visa or a COVID. Now, these issues around, let's say, amendments or cancellations were pre-existing problems way before COVID happened. But people were much more focused on selling than they were on, let's say, solving that customer experience problem. COVID happened, and I think all brands kind of realized that actually, if we want to retain customers, we really need to shift that focus towards giving that experience, not just the purchase experience, but the post-purchase experience. How do we make sure that customers are taken care of and their problems get solved in very uncertain environments? So I think that problem is going to be a timeless problem that, if it's done well, is going to create better experience and better companies out there.
Yeah, that's a great point. All right, so I want to shift gears to a virtual version of a speed round. So I've got a few topics. We've touched on some of them, but I think just to get your quick reaction to these words or topics. So I don't want like a full kind of anecdote. I just want like a short word or sentence when I say these words. So Laura, I'm going to start with you. Trip inspiration startups.
Exciting, maybe not commercial.
We've seen a lot of them fail over the years. Ronnie, B2B or B2C?
I think the better integrated they are, the better experience for the customer.
Okay. Laura, startups focused on cleanliness.
Back to the earlier point, they need to have longevity. Hopefully cleanliness becomes a priority for everybody.
Right. Ronnie, tours and activity startups.
Interesting, but very niche and localized.
Yeah. Laura, hospitality startups.
A lot of big players already there, but a lot of space, I think, for niche players, and the wellness one was a good example.
Yeah, agree. How about blockchain, Ronnie?
Buzzword.
Laura, short-term rentals.
I think exciting space. Alternative accommodation is in demand, and I think that if we look at a lot of different options there.
Yeah, for sure. Ronnie, incubators and accelerators.
Extremely needed within our space. So,
Laura, access to funding.
It's tough. I think there's a lot of money out there to be had, but it's tough to get. You got to have something different.
Tough to get. Yeah, it's really shifted quite a bit the last 5 to 6 months. It's really kind of flipped on its head. Ronnie, being well-funded and bloated or underfunded and lean?
Ooh, underfunded and lean any day.
I thought he would say that. Laura, global aspirations.
Great to have aspirations, but let's be very strategic and targeted, especially if we're getting started. It gets tough.
Yeah. Ronnie, how about own the regional market?
Best place to start. Goes back to actually Laura's last point. That's the best place to start if you want to build out beyond that.
Okay, good. So a quick shift to Advice Clinic. So, for these startups that joined today, maybe Laura, what's one piece of advice that you can give for these startups that are trying to call you and pitch their businesses to one of the giants in the space?
I think it's critical to be very clear on the message, and it was great to see the succinctness of the pitches today. It's very tough to get your whole business model out there in 5 minutes, and then only a couple of minutes for questions. But I think it's very clear you need to be able to sell it quickly. We get, people are getting pitched a lot all the time. So I would say keep it succinct, make sure you're very clear, and the business value has to come first. And obviously the commercialization of it is very critical. So I would say this is a great platform to practice that type of pitch. But the business value has got to be very clear.
Ronnie, how about one piece of advice for startups that are trying to compete against, the Sierra groups of the world? What can you advise them of?
I would say one key thing is that, for any of the problems that they're trying to solve out there, get a really deep understanding for why that problem exists. Like if you go and understand how the industry works and how old it is and who are all the different players and why these things exist, then you can solve the problem the right way. And the second thing is often think about partnering with the series of the world, because I don't think you need to look at it as a competitive landscape, but one where you got to partner with the right partners, where a niche player can fulfill a need that a larger player like Sierra or a Booking may not be willing to go in because we're solving scale problems, but they can solve niche problems that we would want to partner with them to actually do if they do it well.
How about that? I'd love to hear your answer, Laura, on that question. So what's a piece of advice you have for those startups that are trying to compete against Booking.com?
I actually completely align with Ronnie on this. I think that you've got to find that niche. I mean, if you look at a platform like Booking, it's global reach, global coverage. That is very hard to get to in a short space of time. So be very targeted, be very focused, focus on that niche. And they say, Ronnie said it perfectly, partner with companies that can't fill all that localization, potentially all that niche requirements.
Okay, so we've got just a couple of minutes left. So let's try to wrap a bow on this conversation. So I'd love to hear from each of you to give the startups some advice about how to leverage some of the opportunities that we're seeing in this, kind of early stages of recovery, depending upon which markets they're in, and how can they really position themselves for sustainable success?
Can start. Well, firstly, I think it has been really inspiring to see all the different types of startups we've seen, the pitches, the opportunities. Like I said at the beginning, I think there's a lot of simplification that people are looking to do. I think there's obviously a lot of, and Ronnie talked about it, but the ecosystem in travel is incredibly complex, and there is a right opportunity for simplification. I think there is really no better time. I think the interesting thing was at WiT last October, we talked about when does travel come back? Is it 23, 24, 25, 26? And, I think we're very much clear it's back. And it's ramping so fast that there's a huge opportunity now to do a lot, to deliver a huge amount of value, time that is just so critical. So I would say, back to Rory's point earlier, also about partnering. I think even today, as I was listening to all of them, there are a lot of synergies even between the startups here that I think you can add a lot of value to each other in some of these places, and not necessarily see everybody as competition, but really see people as opportunities to drive more value, and leverage each other's strengths. And seek expertise, seek advice. Don't be afraid to get out there and talk to people, because there is a lot of knowledge, and I think it should be there to be used. So I wish everybody very much luck.
Great, Ronnie.
Absolutely. I think I would just add to Laura's excellent points that it's find the right partners. And, there's kind of two directions. I saw the super app direction, or I saw the niche localized problem direction. And I think where we are today is, for a startup, I would suggest focusing on the localized niche problem. Do that really, really well. And if you can get that right, and then you partner with the right people, then you've got a great opportunity to grow. The second point I'll leave is that all of these pitches that I saw today, these are just the first thought or the first idea. It's all experiments, right? Is that when building the business, it's actually about getting out there and continuing to experiment with this stuff instead of trying to prove that your idea is actually right. You learn some lessons along the way, and you have to keep shifting and pivoting. And I think that's what's going to get it to that final place wherever it's going to be.
Great. Good advice from both of you. So thanks so much again for judging, as well as for participating in the wrap up. So thanks for sticking it all the way through. Really, really appreciate it.
It's been great.
All right, good. So I'm gonna hand it back over to Kimberly here, and she's gonna kind of close us down with tying a bow on this event, as well as announcing the winners from each region. So Kimberly, take us away.
Great. Thanks, Pete. That was a really interesting conversation. I enjoyed it. We are now moving on. Let's see. None of the work that we've done today would really be possible without the support of our sponsors, which I think everyone already knows. But our next set of dates start with round one on May 25th today, of course, and tomorrow, the 26th, as we've said before, will be Europe, North America, and South America. Semifinals August 25th. So there will be nine participants who will move on from this competition, and then 9 participants who will move on from tomorrow's competition to that August 25th semifinal event. Grand finals will be at WiT at Marina Bay Sands, and Pete will be eating at lots of great restaurants that I'm personally picking out right now, and all of you are welcome to come too. That's October 3rd to the 5th. The winner of that presentation will be granted a spotlight presentation at Phocuswright Conference in Phoenix, Arizona, in November, on the 14th through the 17th of November. Here are those sponsors I alluded to earlier. Again, we also had a little support from AWS with some credits that will go out to the startup competitors. And the moment you're all waiting for, it's coming right up. For Asia Pacific, in no particular order, the winners are Work Lounge, Trembolier, and Jang You Just Trip. Thanks everyone for competing. Yay! It was a great competition, and these are the 3 who are advancing. For India, Verbotech, Trip Shipu, and Get Out Travel System. And our final winners for Middle East and Africa, Upstay, Welcome to the World, and Away to Africa. Thanks everyone for participating. Pete, if you want to walk us out.
Yes, it was a great day, very interesting day. Well done, Kimberly. So if you haven't signed up for the event tomorrow, definitely do so. If you can't make it, if it's middle of the night your time, we will send you the recording. And we so very much look forward to seeing you in person at our events here later on this year. It's good to do this virtually because we can get through a lot of them, but it's much more fun to do this face-to-face. So can't wait to see most of you here at WiT Singapore and the Phocuswright Conference.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, great work, Kimberly. Thanks, Kimberly. And Pete, that was fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Craig.
Have a great day.